It's always nice when you see a custom stream service and it actually works. Been using this studio from YouTube, and it seems to work out pretty well. It usually pops on. I got a big this. Oh, I think we're live now. Okay, good. Welcome everybody. Hello, this is Sean Symons, PPG Grandpa. PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast, clearprottv.com, paratalk.org. If you just want to listen to us. We got a lot of people in the chat, so let's go ahead and say hi to everyone real quick. Randy Milstead is in the house. Fly, baby, fly. PPG, John Wayne, Matt Sloper, Bill H. And we are just chatting up a storm. So hope that you guys will chat a little bit. Say hi if you're in here. We had like 7 people waiting, so I think that was all the people. I think I said hello to everybody, right? Matt Sloper, Fly Baby Fly. Okay, good deal. Well, welcome everybody, and thank you for watching Season 3, Episode 111. I cannot believe that we are just rolling through this year. I mean, pretty soon it's going to be Season 2, or Season 3. I mean, Season 4. My goodness, it's just rolling off the tongue. Tonight we're going to be talking about things that I wish that I knew before I got into paramotors. So I'm going to go first. My name is Sean Symons, PPG Grandpa. The things that I wish that I would have known before I got into paramotor. I thought I was going to be able to slide in to paramotoring less than $10,000 and just have to buy gas, just have to buy oil, and not spend a lot of money. I think that I'm up to about 30,000 on paramotoring, different wings, 3 or 4 different wings I've had so far, 4 different paramotors themselves, and it just keeps on going on. I got to upgrade. I got to do more. I got to get more. I got to have more. I can't stop. This is an addiction. It's a horrible addiction, but it's a fun addiction. So it's going to cost a lot more money.
Much worse addictions you could have.
That's for sure. This one is my favorite addiction. Matter of fact, all my other addictions that I had before, like 4-wheeling, motorbiking, skiing, boating, all that other fun stuff, I got rid of all that. Now is just paramotor, and that's all I want to do. I don't want to do anything else. I just want to talk about paramotors all the time, which is why 3 years ago I started this in 2020, January 1st of 2020. Was it 2020? Yeah, 2020. And or was it 2019? It was a while back. And I just want to talk about paramotors nonstop. I better stop talking about paramotors and move on to Will Fly and let him introduce himself and find out what he wished he knew before he started flying paramotors. Will Fly.
Hey, yeah, Will Fly. It's good to be here, and hello to everyone in the chat. I guess the first thing, the most important thing for me is I wish that I had a better understanding of how to pick an instructor and what made the difference between a good instructor and a bad instructor. The other thing is I wish I would have gotten connected with a local group of paramotor pilots before even I chose an instructor. Other than that's pretty much it, because I believe with those two things, with a good instructor, that puts you on a firm, solid foundation to launch your paramotor career. The only other thing I could think of is kind of wish I would have been introduced to PPG Grandpa's podcast before. I mean, I was well into the sport until when I found PPG Grandpa's podcast. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for me.
Real quick, I know that we talked about you started off with an Atom 80 and now you have a Moser 185. Do you wish that you would have started with the 80 and graduated to the 185 like you did, or start off with the 185?
Well, initially I wanted a 185, and both that instructor and another guy talked me into the Atom 80. I will say this, the Atom 80 is a great motor. And I firmly believe that because I spent, a year and a half flying that it made me a better pilot. And I had to run a little bit more than I do now with the Moster, but yeah, it made me pay attention a little bit more. With the Moster, power can save a lot, and I don't know. I looking back at it, no, I'm glad it happened just the way it did.
Awesome. Awesome. We also got JP Tulo. JP, you've been flying for a while. Uh, Introduce yourself and let us know what are the things that you wish you knew before you started flying paramotors.
What's up, guys? Yeah, JP Tulo here. jptulo.com, Tulo. Uh, I wish I would have known how practical paramotoring was earlier, because I had seen it years before I actually got involved, and I always just didn't think it was like an achievable goal. And um, I guess better late than never. But I didn't. Or in the mid 2000 20 teens, I had seen videos and stuff, and I was like, man, yeah, I could see myself doing that. That's and I just never really realized how attainable it would be. And I wish I would have gotten involved sooner, is basically what I'm trying to say. Other than that, I guess it would have been nice to have been. I wish I would have known about the Facebook group, I guess, sooner, because that's just a wealth of. I guess that goes along with the community. I wish I would have been more in touch with the community, and just because you can take all those years of experience, and that way you don't have to learn, the hard way and spend money and all this. Learn from everyone else's experiences, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Because you can do it wrong. Many people have showed us you can buy the wrong gear, you can go to the wrong school, you can, but if you do it right, you can have such a different experience. And I guess that's what my takeaway is do your research. Most people want to get involved, right? They want to get involved yesterday. I got a message on Instagram from a guy, and he says, please text me, or yeah, please message me back. I need this in my life yesterday. And I got with him, and I was like, man, you're kind of going about it wrong. You need to take a deep breath, slow down, because this isn't a sprint race. It's a marathon, and do some research. I'm more than happy to help you along with it. And we're chatting now. Find someone who's knowledgeable and pick their brain, because it's better to take some time and do it right than just like dive in, buy a 38-meter wing and an Atom 80, and it just, you're gonna have a bad experience if you get the wrong equipment. And it's just gonna be like, oh, paramotoring's stupid. It's the amount of success you have is dependent on the decisions you make, and the people you surround yourself with. So find a good group of people, and get some good gear. It's just the way to do it. Download some podcasts. I remember that anytime I was driving early on in training, I was listening to paramotor stuff. Just make your brain a sponge and absorb every bit of information you can, and you will set yourself up for success.
That's pretty good. I know that I listened to Anthony Vella when I first started Cloud-Based Mayhem. What are some of the other podcasts that you listen to when you?
I was just about to say that one, Cloud-Based Mayhem. There's a bunch of UK. Paragliding is really popular, which it's a little bit different, but they live by the same sort of rules. You can learn about wings, all this other stuff. It's been so long since I've been on there. But yeah, Anthony's not really doing podcasts anymore, is he? Has he gotten away from that?
He's doing like one every 4, 6
one
months.
A quarter.
One, yeah, that's it. I think he's doing one a quarter, which is good because look how busy he is.
It keeps it fresh instead of beating it to death. But
and his are really good. Ours are kind of off the hip. We do a live show, whatever microphone you have or I have. His stuff sounds a lot more professional. And,
yes,
he puts a lot of work into it.
Absolutely, yeah.
But thank you, JP.
Here. Yeah.
What?
I'm gonna pull up my podcast list here.
Oh, your podcast list? Okay.
Here we got PPG Grandpa right there. Oh, you can't see it, but
hey, there's PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast. Back
Cloud-Based Mayhem right there.
Yeah, Cloud-Based Mayhem.
The Ask Aviator. That was a really good one. I wish they wouldn't have gotten away from it. The Ask Aviator every Tuesday night. That was a great live stream.
I know. I wish that they still did it too. I really like their pre-show and just that yappity yap. But they never published that, in their audio version. Yeah, the pre-show. So you had to watch it or else you lost it.
Yeah. Paramotor Nation.
Yep, Paramotor Nation. Yeah.
Checkered Flag. Oh, wait, that's not Paramotor. Beyond the Grid.
And if you just Google search Paramotor Podcasts, they will pop up.
Here's a good one. If you guys get a chance, check out From the Middle. These guys are just like a regular group of guys. They're from Ohio. Represent. They did an interview with me on one of their shows, and we had a lot of fun. So if you get a chance, check out From the Middle podcast.
Is it paramotor related?
Not really. It was for that one episode, though. If you check out From the Middle, Running into the Sky. That was the name of the episode where they had me on, and it was a lot of fun. Running into the Sky with JP Tulo.
A very shameless plug. Okay.
Yep.
Hey, whatever works. Whatever.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment.
Hit that bell notification.
jptulo.com. Hit the bell. Ring. Yes.
All right.
YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Face.
All right. Well, thank you, JP. We'll definitely come back to you. We'll come back to everybody and talk more. Let's say hi to Linda Anderson real quick. Now, she doesn't fly, but she is our PR. If you, what was that for people that are not watching? What did we just hear?
I am a cheerleader. I love all my para guys, para girls.
She actually has little pom-poms that she shakes for us.
Awesome. Thank you, chatters, for joining us tonight. I always look forward to Mondays so I can be with everybody and learn more stuff. And I tell you what was it, a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago? And I don't fly, but I started getting interested in the sport. Excuse me. And supporting Robert and everything. And it's awesome.
That's right. That's right. You're getting over your cold, so we won't make you talk too much.
I know. I get so excited. I'm like, oh.
Easy. It's all right. If you guys want to get up with us and be on our show as a guest, make sure you get up with Linda Anderson. You can find her by going to paramomusa.com. It forwards over to her Facebook page. Just IM her or PM her and say, yo, I want to be on Clearprop TV, Paramotor Podcast. And she'll hook you in.
Thanks, Grandpa.
Right. Thank you, Miss Linda. We appreciate you. We also got Jade. Well, I don't know. Jade was there. Eric is here. EricPPGlear.com. Is your wife there? I saw her earlier.
She's sitting next to me.
She blended in.
Yeah, she blended in. Wait, before I go any further, hey, Danny, how you doing? Oh, she can't hear. JP must have his earphones in. Oh.
Here. Eric says hey, so say hi. Wave.
Hey.
We just saw her in the background. Anyways, I'm Eric Lear and my wife, Jade Lear. We live in northern Wisconsin. Things that we wish we knew prior to paramotoring. I wish I knew that the paramotoring community was so friendly. That I had no idea about. I thought that this was something that only 4 people in the United States did. And we were 2 of them. So, I mean, there's that aspect of it. And the other thing is because we do live in cooler climate, that I wish I knew that I had to buy so much cold weather gear. So that's pretty much where it stands. Everything from that, everything else is, I agree with all of you. There's, all the way from the amount of gear that you end up getting, the addiction, getting to join a new club, the podcast. I mean, yeah, I agree with all those. So, but I think the best one is getting to know the community. I'm glad that that community is out there and it is a friendly community.
I'm actually writing this all down. I got the list of everything that we've been talking about, and a lot of things keep on going to group of people, the community, the group of people, the friendly people, friendly group. It just keeps on coming up on this, and you guys don't forget, if you go to ppgzone.com, you can sign up there. It's it's like a Facebook for paramotor pilots and people that want to get into paramotors. There's an interactive map, so you can actually look on the map where you are and see all the different people around you that fly or are pilots or want to be pilots, and you can actually get up with them through ppgzone.com. So that's another thing too. It's a really good website. I enjoy it, and it keeps on growing and growing. We also, and thank you very much, Eric, appreciate you. Was there anything else that you wanted to say before we move on?
No, that was it.
Okay. We will come back to you though, because there's some things I want to talk to you about, the difference between triking and foot launching with you. We also got Jim from Canada A. His maple syrup money, which I think is absolutely incredible. Glad that you're on here, buddy. Have you made it to your 100th flight yet?
I have.
Oh, you have. Good. Congratulations. So, Jim, tell everybody who you are, your .coms, and tell us things that you wish that you knew before you started getting into paramotoring.
Jim Samard from Canada with Care Printing and Publishing, where I've got a small printing company that I'm free. Makes it easy for me to go paramotor, which is nice. And I've got a couple websites. You can reach me on www.carepp.com. And if you want to check out my YouTube, it's www.careppg.com. Thanks to PPG Grandpa. There and things that I wish I knew about paramotoring. Well, I wish I knew how awesome it was going to be. And I probably would have forced myself to do it much sooner. Other thing that I really wish I had to, or I got to experience before I started trying to get off the ground myself, was I wish I had gone on a tandem with somebody so that I could experience taking off and landing and feeling the flare and trying to understand that before I actually had to do that myself, because wow, that was quite the shock.
When you had training, do they do any towing? Obviously, you said that they didn't do any tandem, but did they do towing?
Not in my training. No.
Okay. All right. Anything else before we move on and chat anybody else? I'm glad that you made it to at least 100. So you got 100 or more than 100?
I think it's like 102 now or something like that.
Well, that's good. That is really freaking awesome. I love it. So let's take a look in the chat. Mad Sloper, Bill H, Fly Baby Fly, PPG John Wayne. I'm scrolling down. We got the Will Fly, PPG the Other Neck. Hello everyone. DP's in the house. Mickey Alberto. I'm scrolling down. Paramotor Girl, Nick Griffith. Lots of chatting in here. JP Tulo, Michael Pendleton, Jennifer Chernick. Let's see, Deweese Milstead, Mickey. I'm scrolling down. You guys are just chatting away. That's awesome. We even got Dave Ruff in the house. What's up, Dave Ruff? And just lots of chatting in here. Was there any questions in the chat? I think I saw that somebody had a question. Is that correct?
Someone, PPG, the other Nick, said he wished that he would have bought a Spider and went and trained on a Mojo. So I think that means he wished that he would have started out with the Spider instead of the Mojo. Is that what you're talking about, Nick?
That's what it sounds like. I know that I wanted to get a wing, but my instructor said, trust your instructor. You want this Roadster 3. You don't want this A wing because I know what you want to do. And thank goodness I started off with the Roadster 3. So starting off with a higher rated wing. So like a low B, not an A. Okay, that's interesting. Sergio jumped in. I wish I would have brought my glasses. Bradley Beck. James. I'm trying to do it with my good eye, but it's hard to do that. Did I also say Travis?
Who?
Travis.
Go get your glasses, silly.
Travis do. What is it? Is it Point or Pont? I always said Travis DuPont, but then I thought that he said that was DuPont. Then he said, no, it's not. I'm like, I'll never get this right. Oh, Jennifer's in here too. I think I already said that.
It's Travis DuPont.
Is it DuPont?
DuPont.
Okay, because I thought I said DuPont last time. He said, no, it wasn't.
No,
Then
you said DuPont last.
and then I just said DuPont, and then I was like,
DuPont.
I know, Nick. It's like, what is this again? It's the same thing. Whatever. We're just gonna
It's okay.
we're just gonna say Travis D. There you go. Travis
We
D.
still love you.
Travis
We
D.
still love you.
Travis D is in the house. All right. Amy George, Mark George, are you both there? Or are you just hanging out in the background? If you want to chat with us, just go ahead and unmute and say hi.
Yeah, man, I'm wearing your shirt. You should at least acknowledge it, dude. See?
Ooh,
It's just me. Just me.
there's my beautiful girl.
Hey,
Hey,
I just got home from tutoring after work. I go straight to tutoring. I just got home. Wanted to say hey.
It's so good to see your beautiful face.
Thank you
Miss
too.
you. We miss you on here.
Busy working 2 jobs.
Wow.
Wow. All right.
What?
Well-
Dave Ruff? David?
Will, is there something in the chat? I see something popped up. What do we got, Will? For Dave Ruff?
This from David Ruff. After near 6 years, I still go back to my A-wing, back to the basics, no matter the time or skill is always a good thing. That's a really good point.
That's interesting. Now the question is, how many hours do you have on your A-wing?
Yeah, it is a good point.
Yeah. I know that my Roadster I kind of decommissioned, and it's pretty much just a student wing now. So it can land on the leading edge and I won't cringe anymore. They can scrape it across, bricks and snag it on anything they want to. It's like, whatever. No big deal. It's decommissioned. I ain't going to fly that thing again. Amy, I know that you're eating, but is there anything that you wish that you knew before you started flying paramotors?
Before I started flying, I knew I wish I'd gone to ground school first instead of after. I learned so much this past week during my winter break, finally going to an official ground school. So yes, I wish I'd gone to ground school first.
Wish you would have went to ground school first instead of what?
Learning from here and there and doing a solo. And I learned so much more instead of just being told this and that. And this is why you do that, and just do this or just do that. And it's amazing I ever did a solo in ill wind, learning that way. It took me longer, of course, but I learned so much in ground school that I didn't know before. So what I wish I knew before is how valuable going to ground school is before you even try to do anything else.
Because you kind of had a bunch of people helping you, but you never went officially to school, correct? And you even took a solo and flown. But this last week, you went over and actually went to an actual school. And you're saying that the school was so much better. You learned so much than trying to get pieces here and there from friends and other instructors.
Right. It just gives you the information that it just helped connect the pieces of what I already knew. It took what I knew from learning from here and there and just connected all the dots for me. So it all makes sense now of why I do what I do.
That's really good, because there are a lot of people that can't go, or well, they can't go to a 7-day school or 14-day school. You know, there's too many responsibilities. They got kids, significant others, dogs and cats, and responsibilities. And it's really difficult to take 7 days off to go to ground school. So a lot of people are opting to just go on the weekends. Do a 3-day weekend or a weekend, and then the next weekend or whatever weekend's available because of the wind and stuff. I understand. That's kind of the way that I was instructed, and I wish that I would have been able to go to a school for 7 days straight and learn it, like Amy just said.
Well, even going, I think 3 days here, 3 days there, I still think I would have gotten the same value out of it than just going for a whole week. The downside is because of the weather, I wasn't able to fly. And that was one of my goals, was to fly again, because it's been 6 months. But it's a lot better than 3 days here or 3 days there of a ground school than people trying to teach themselves on YouTube.
Right, exactly. It really is amazing when you watch all the videos on YouTube and you think, you know what? I see them do this. I went through, I was going through this, and I went through the aviator thing, and I saw the aviator, how to ground handle a video, which I think everybody has, and it's like, okay, I think I can do this. You go to your first day as a student, and the first time they actually hold a wing and try to do this amazing thing that that you have in your head, you can do it. I mean, how these kids can do it? Nah, I can do it. And you're like, whoop, bam, what am I doing wrong? So yeah, I understand trying to do it by yourself, just through YouTube. I don't think that really works very well. I know that I got a couple of students that tried that and went through a lot of money in gear. So what are some other things that you wish that you knew before you started paramotoring? We got a really good list going. Was there anything in the chat that they want to talk about, and if Will's talking, he's on mute.
To answer your previous question, Dave said he had 300 hours on the wing.
300 hours. That's a lot of hours. Okay, real quick, for everyone out there that's watching the show, in the super chat, just let us know, how many hours does your main wing have? If you have multiple wings, whatever, just your main wing, how many hours do you have on that? My Roadster, I think that first year I had 300 hours and sent it in, and they failed it because I went through hours upon hours of flying that wing every single chance I got, and then went to 2 different SIVs, and it failed. So instead of getting it fixed, I bought another wing, and I still flew it. How many hours do you think you have on yours, Will? Your main glider?
Probably on the second one, probably about 150 hours.
150 hours. Okay. Eric, how many hours do you think you have on your main wing?
On this is my first wing, and that I use for the trike, and I'm going to say probably about 100 to 120 hours, because I was using that wing also with a foot launch, but I have hour meters on both, so I'm trying to do the math here real quick. So I would say between 100 and 120 hours on my wing.
Would you, if money was no object, would have had a wing for your trike and wing for your foot launch separate?
I do have a wing for my trike and a wing for my foot launch now. I just haven't busted out the wing for the foot launch yet because I just got it recently and I'm not flying my foot launch unit right now because of the winter time.
Gotcha. Okay. Jim.
Yeah, I got probably 100 hours on my wing. I got it secondhand. It actually came with my paramotor to the first, it was a package altogether. And then I bought it later. But so my paramotor has about 90 hours on it. And I personally have only put about 40 hours on that. But obviously I did all my training on that wing as well. So I would say probably 100, 110, 100 about that on my wing.
Okay.
And I got the Charger, and I just love that thing. I find it so versatile, like that I can go fast, I can go intermediate, I can go like an elevator almost, like straight up and down. It's a really cool wing. I have not come anywhere close to maximizing its potential. I know that for a fact. And there's people out there that talk about oscillations. I've never experienced oscillations. There's just
He's never
I can't
experienced
say
oscillation on a wing.
anything bad
On that.
about that wing.
Yeah. So you never had to send it in to get inspected yet?
I have not done that. I have been thinking about doing it. And if I do that, then I am considering getting another wing just so that I have something that I can fly.
I'm telling you, you think that you're going to get into this sport for less than 10,000 and not put any money into this? You're mistaken. And that's what happens. Is like I want to get another wing, so when I send my wing out, which it used to be $175 for an annual inspection, and because of everything that's going on, it seems like everybody bumped it up to $200 for annual inspection plus $20 an hour of repair, minimum 50 or something like that. So there's a bunch of different ones, different prices, but it seems like it's right about $200 for an annual inspection, which is really not that bad. I mean, think about it. That's what's keeping you alive. So $200 for an annual inspection plus any repair. I burnt a hole on one of my panels. They took it out. They replaced it for $20. I mean, that's insane. I didn't even know that you could do such a thing. So I thought that once you chopped a wing, it was pretty much useless. It's gone. But for $200 plus repair, it doesn't really cost that much to fix your chopped up wing, which is good.
And the average, the response is how many, in the chat, how many hours the average is 93.5. That's kind of interesting.
About 93.5 hours on their main glider.
Yeah.
Who did that number?
Well, I just did it.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
I just added them up and divided it. Now I did not include though Dave Wolf's 300 hours.
Okay, so that's interesting. So right around everyone is about 100 hours on their wing-ish. And one of the things that I hear a lot, or I hear the question a lot, is how long does a wing last? I've been hearing that if you take care of it, 600 hours, no problem, even beyond 600 hours. Or you can, dump it in water, drag it across things that you shouldn't on gravel and such. You can pretty much destroy a wing pretty easy. But if you take good care of it, it could last 600 plus hours. What do you guys think? Or what have you guys heard?
I've heard something similar to that. And that makes it would just be common sense to take care of it and not be dragging it through everything because it's a huge investment.
Right. No washing machines.
Or dryers.
Something else that is really important that I heard a wing manufacturer repair person talk about was how bad it is to put a wet wing away and just let it sit like that. That water will mess with the fabric. You've got a coating on your fabric from the factory that you need to take care of too. And not only that, the water will actually, I think, shrink your lines. People think that your lines stretch. What typically happens, I think, is some lines will shrink, making it look like other lines have stretched. But that water on the lines is terrible for them. So always let your wing dry out before putting it away.
Yep.
What was some of the popular answers as far as what you wish you knew before paramotoring?
From what everybody has said, I kind of got, they wish that they had better instructors understood what good instructors are and bad instructors. A group of people before they get started to get, close to pilots, before they actually went to school or started learning about it. So I think that going to ppgzone.com and getting an account, looking at the interactive members map so you can actually see who's around you, get up with them and say, hey, I want to be a pilot. Whenever you guys go to the airport or go to an LZ, can I go there and meet up with you guys, check out your equipment and watch you fly around? That's a great thing to do. Will Fly said was talking about the difference in motor sizes. Like he started off with the Atom 80, went to the Moster 185. And so there's different machines, different frames, different throttles, different size motors, prop pitches and ratios, a lot of things that you don't know because you just don't know, or you don't know to know. Another thing is the community.
You don't know the questions to even ask at that point, at that stage.
What's that?
You don't even know the right questions to ask.
Exactly. You don't know what you don't know, so you have no idea what questions to ask. It's really a good idea to find all the different people that talk about paramotors. We do this Paramotor podcast live stream here, video wise, where people can talk. And we also have a recording of just the audio that we put out there, so more people can go, what is this paramotor thing people are talking about, and find us. And Eric and Shane and Jade, they all are doing Paramotor Podcasts live streaming. We also got Linda's son, Robert Michael's doing one on Thursday that he's been doing for years and years and years. We got Cloud-Based Mayhem, which is not really paramotor related, but there's a lot of good things that you can learn from Cloud-Based Mayhem as a paragliding podcast. More groups of people. Wish I knew groups of people. Wish I knew people. More time to learn about PPG before I got into went to school. Listen to podcasts. Thank you. I think that was JP's. Buying more gear than they thought. How much gear have we bought that we had no idea that we were going to buy before we got into the paramotoring? Real quick, cold weather gear, lots of it.
I just committed to a reserve. It's after tax and everything, $2,000 Canadian. So I don't know what that is.
Is that a steerable or is that a round?
Steerable. But they just raised their price like the day before I committed.
Yeah.
Wait, what now?
Did you get a Beamer or what'd you get?
Yeah, exactly. Well, not the. There's the other brand. It's the Regalo, but it's the other brand name. I don't think it's the Beamer.
Okay, yeah, I got the Beamer 3, and I think I forgot what size I got, but it was about $1,200 at the time. So,
did you say 2,000, Jim?
Yeah, that's Canadian though.
Oh, okay.
Which means what?
It comes
Which
with
means
maple
it
syrup.
hurts worse.
Hurts worse.
I don't know what it is.
I'll convert it for you.
Okay, thank goodness that somebody can convert American to Canadian back.
I do have a
1,600.
question.
What?
When you were talking about your hours, do you include your kiting hours?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
if I would have, yeah, I guess you're right. It's like, are we including our kiting hours or just flight hours?
Yeah, because
Because-
I included my kiting hours.
So $1,500 ish, and that's after tax. That's about right for a steerable. So that's good. But yeah, flying hours and kiting hours, because man, I do a lot of kiting. Maybe
Dave Ruff says to save yourself the money and just head south when it starts to get cold. Don't have to worry about the cold weather year then.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Well, like here, I mean, our mean temperature during the winter time is 50 degrees. Now we had the snowstorm, snowstorm. Somebody, hit me head on, because of the ice and the sleet and the hail and the storms, right? This next week it's going to be 72 degrees. So, down south sucks at times, but it's great at times. I'm going to go fly this whole next week. Wait a minute. I can't. I can't. I don't have a trailer hitch on the rental car. I won't be able to take my motor. I guess I could disassemble it, but man, that's a pain in the butt. See, now you know things. Well, looks like we got Mike in the house too. What's up, Mike? Glad you could join us, buddy.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing awesome. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the things that you wish that you knew before you started flying paramotors.
Okay, well, I haven't flown a paramotor yet. I come from the PG background and just bought that SP 140 at the end of December. Took it out for one day with Daniello for some training, but we didn't get up in the air. Had a little stumble, broke some parts. So waiting on parts for the past 6 weeks. So, just waiting to get that going and hopefully get in the air here soon in the next 2 to 4 weeks, hopefully.
Well, you also paraglide, so I guess the question could be things you wish you knew before you started paragliding in paragliding school.
Well, yeah, I guess I would probably say things that I wish I would have known is the amount of travel, judging from where you live, where you're going to fly, putting in that time to do traveling. Sometimes I drive to get to the coast. We're talking 5 to 8 hours to go fly some coastal sites or some decent grass mountain. I can fly here in Las Vegas outside of town, but there's a lot of rocks and lava rocks, and it's a little hard on the wings and stuff. So I kind of wish I would have known that, but yeah, we just that's about it.
So like the LZs, it'd be nice to know about the LZs and the travel to these different LZs as far as like the travel time that you have in your vehicle.
Yeah, it's just a lot of driving, getting these places, and then hoping that the weather's good, and waiting around, But it's really enjoyable, and a lot of times it's worth it,
Absolutely. I forgot about that too. You're right. Like look at all the gas time that we took off from work, etc., to go to these different fly-ins.
Oh yeah.
Didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's right. We also had someone talk about tandem flights, wish that they could do tandem flights and possibly being towed before taking their first solo flight. Wish that they had a higher rated wing, like a B, a low B, and not an A. However, we did have David Ruff talk about he likes to go back to his A wing, even though he has been flying for years. And traveling to different LZs, the cost involved with that. That is a lot of stuff that you just don't even think about. Was there anything else that you can think about, things that you wish that you knew before you started paramotors or paragliding?
Well, listening to everybody and then thinking about my own experience, how important the proper equipment is. Because most people don't think about that. A lot of people do their research and buy their equipment before they even go to a ground school, if they're able to go to a school. Because I tried to learn how to kite on Mark's wing that he bought prior to going to school because he did his research. And that wing was too heavy for me. I couldn't kite to save my life. I gave up for 8 months until I got a wing that a friend of mine said, try this old wing of mine, and I could kite. So how important the proper equipment is.
Buying before you go to an instructor. That is a really good one. How many people out there wish that they didn't spend all that money on that crap from eBay and then found out that they got to get rid of it and buy real gear because that's 20 years old and no one wants to train you on it. Didn't even think about that, but yeah, that's right. How many people in the chat bought gear before they went to see their trainer? Let us know. And how many people in the chat are self-trained and wish that they would have found an instructor beforehand?
That's a big thing, and a lot of it is I don't want to say advertisement, YouTube videos. There's a lot of people that are really promoting gear that, if you purchase gear before you went to training and you purchased that particular gear, it may work for you, it may not. And a good instructor will have a quiver full of wings that you can fly, and you find what's best for you, because what's best for one person is not going to be best for another. And these wings have all different types of weight ratings, and one could be a 28 and one could be the 26, and you still have the same weight rating. So you don't really know what to buy. A 28 in one brand is not a 28 in another.
Good point. Very good point.
That's with what he's saying, Eric's saying, I'm a 28 meter on Spider or Roadster. I think in my weight range for the free ride, it's like 19. It's like completely different. It's all about the mission of the wing, really, and what kind of flying you're going to be doing with it. It's, if you think like, oh, I'm a 26 and you're a 26 on every wing, that's not really the case. You got to look at the specs. You got to read the manual for whatever wing you're looking at. That's just one of those things that is a perfect case of, you wouldn't know that. You don't know what you don't know, and you wouldn't know that if someone didn't explain it to you. So,
Hey, Eric, what is a quiver full of wings? I'm trying to picture that, a quiver full of wings.
In the kiteboarding industry, like Jade and I, we have a quiver of wings. We have a library of wings we can pick from because of different wind.
do you have a link
No.
where I can order a quiver for my wings?
You put it on your back. You just pick out whichever one you want, and that's
okay. So do you fly with that quiver, or do you leave it like
you fly with
the
it
ground?
just in case you have to change.
In case you have a motor out too, you can put
Bingo.
the wing that you're flying with in your quiver.
Exactly. Okay. A trailer full of wings. If you have a trailer full of wings.
Trailer full of
Oh, a
wings.
trailer. I ain't that, man. Dang.
I'm sorry. It's a Wisconsin thing, maybe. But anyways.
It's like a quiver full of arrows. The quiver is what you put all your arrows in.
Bingo.
Right. So the quiver would be your trailer.
Wisconsin and Texas are on the same wavelength here. Yeah, no. So, I mean, then at least you can try different wings. You can try different engines. You can try different frames. I mean, a Parajet might not be good for me, but it might be good for somebody else. So, it's just, yeah, you really have to have the instructor that has an assortment of stuff that can lead you in the proper direction.
Exactly.
That's something right there, what you just said, that I wish, which is very difficult because you got to find the right people, and I wish I would have been able to try more gear before buying, because you don't know. You can read until you're blue in the face and watch videos and all this stuff, but especially with wing selection, you're not going to know if you like it until you take it for a rip. And that's something I think for new people is try before you buy if you can. A lot of dealers will actually, I think if you cover shipping, they will ship you a demo wing. Take care of it. You can take it for a week, or if the weather is bad, they'll probably work with you. But take it for a couple flights, see if you like it. If you don't like it, send it back. If you like it, buy a wing from them. And that's how the dealer system kind of operates. So if you can try out some stuff before you buy it, definitely do that.
I like that. Definitely talking about different wings and different motors, different props for different days, depending on the days, if it's windy, if it's hot, if it's cold, if it's going to be early morning, late at night. You know, you're right. We, as we get more involved with the sport, we tend to buy more things. And we don't sell the old ones either. We have our original wing, then we have another wing because we want to have one that we can have when we send it in to get inspected. Then we get a really good deal another year. So now you have like 3 or 4 wings, and it's like, I swore I was never going to have more than one wing. How many people swore they were never going to have more than one wing? I knew I was going to have just that one wing. This is going to last me for a long time. Here I am.
See, that's the thing. I wanted to make sure that the wing that I picked out was the absolute wing for me. I mean, because I knew I was going to retire with this wing. I wanted to make sure I didn't make a mistake. But it goes back to the whole point of you really don't know what questions to ask because you don't know.
Right.
And I think it's natural because I did the same thing. And when I first decided I wanted to do it, it was, what equipment do I need? Yeah, and that's just kind of human nature, right? And that sounds logical.
Yeah.
Instead of what's the best training, what's the best route, to get into the sport. So
Think how much money people would have saved if they had just were able to try out things from friends or whatever, or even, again, go to ground school where they have all the different things to try out. I mean, they're thinking, oh my gosh, I can't afford the money to go there. But how much money would you save had you spent the money to be able to go somewhere to try lots of different equipment before you just did your own research, bought equipment, then had to buy equipment again that was best for you?
Yeah, the more things that you get to try, the better, for sure. Because if you were able to try that A wing at school and you were able to try that roadster at school, you're like, man, this roadster is great. I'd rather have this thing than an A wing. So that'd be really good to be able to fly different wings, for sure.
Hey, can I say something, Sean?
Always,
I'm gonna
always.
bare my soul here.
Okay.
And I promote also I can see the value of trying different wings, but I have a hard time flying other people's equipment. It just bothers me to no end. I know I can fix it. I know I can pay to have it repaired, blah, 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 but it just kind of bothers me to fly somebody else's gear, just in case something goes wrong. So I don't know if I'm looking at it the wrong way or what, but does anyone else experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% can appreciate where you're coming from, because I feel like if I take a wing out or something and we crash it, it falls on the engine and melts. If I chop out the line set, I own that wing now. And if I don't have $4,000 in my pocket, that I can do that with, and I feel like I'm, overextending myself a little bit. So yeah, I can definitely appreciate what you're saying, Will.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is if you fly somebody else's wing, you have $4,000 in your pocket, you're getting mugged at the next
in
flight.
my pocket. Yeah, I'm getting mugged.
JP, did you think about that when you were taking the trike? No.
Well, no, but I mean, some guys are like, yeah, try this, just like, they'll ask you 3 or 4 times, you got to try this. And it's like, dang, man, that not only does that throw me off my game, because it's something new and
Right.
I don't know. But at the same time, I do want to experience other wings and
Right.
I don't know.
In the chat, David Ruff said that he's still searching for the perfect wing, the perfect trike, the perfect foot launch. And that's that is what you do. You want to try out different things. And you're not going to know until you try it.
The journey.
Yep.
I don't think most people are going to let you try their stuff though, unless they trust you. It's not going to be random. Oh yeah, try my wing. They know you. They've seen you fly. They trust you to a certain level, or they wouldn't offer it. For instance, I've let people use my wing because I trust them. If I don't trust you, I'm not going to offer it up to you. And I think that goes vice versa.
Right. And with that trust also goes with the untold rule, if you break somebody else's equipment, you pay for it. I guess that's just, the niceness that we have anyways in this sport. We do want to make sure that we don't break anybody else's stuff. But if you go to fly-ins, there's usually people that or companies that bring a bunch of demo wings in and say, hey, go try some of these demo wings, demo motors. So anybody ever demo a wing or a motor at a fly-in?
I've had the opportunity to, but it was just too nerve-wracking because there are so many people around, and it's new equipment. And well, as you guys know, I've only got 40 hours in the air, so I wanted to, but there was no way I was going to do it with all those people and all that situation and everything going on.
Right.
Felt too risky at the time.
There's a couple of
So-
interesting responses, Sean, in the chat about that.
All right, go ahead, bud.
David Ruff says he feels the same way I do as far as, borrowing using other people's equipment. Yankee Paramotor says that flying a dealer's gear is not the same as borrowing your buddy's stuff.
That is true.
Yeah, and
How is
I
it
can see
different?
the distinction.
I'm curious the reasoning behind that.
Because if you break your buddy's wing, that might be his only wing. If you break a dealer's, there you can still go up and fly.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can see the distinction there. That makes sense.
Yeah,
And
but
it's
I
that
have
way.
no problem. I have absolutely no problem loaning out Jade's wing to anybody that wants to use it.
Yeah.
Well, JP took your trike out for a spin over at.
I took Jade's strikeout.
Was
for
it
a
Jade's
spin.
strikeout
Yes,
over at Moonshiners?
the
Yeah.
pink one? Yeah.
See how I volunteered her equipment? No, but I mean,
Uh-huh.
and then Mark George took my trike. But the thing is I wanted to have them, two people that have never flown a trike, to experience a trike because it is a different flight. And it's, I know that if something happened to my gear, they would do the best to make it right. And that goes with anybody in the community. If I know you well enough, or even met you, and I know that you're responsible enough, go for it. But the thing, the one thing is, nobody is going to purposely wreck your gear. And accidents do happen.
Exactly.
And I know I sound like a broken record right now, and I apologize up front, but that's part of the fee you pay to go to ground school. So they know you're going to wreck something, a new student and everything. They know you may tear up a wing, they get chopped up in the propeller. They know you may have a crash landing, your first flight's always a perfect flight. So that's part of it, that covering, because they know their gear is going to probably get ruined. And so you have that chance also with no worries.
Now, when you went to flight school, did they tell you that the gear that you're flying is your responsibility, or did you pay some extra money for renter's insurance at that school? So in case you broke it, you don't have to worry about it.
No, I've never heard of renter's insurance.
From the school?
Yeah, I've never heard of that. I mean, from Kyle or Ron, I hadn't heard of that. Kyle expected.
Oh, well, that's one of the things that I do for my students. It's part of the tuition. If you break my stuff, don't worry about it.
Yeah, for me, it was about halfway through when I landed really well my first landing, and then the next 6 were I didn't land on my feet. So after, even though I was using my own equipment, he asked me if he let me start using his Mojo, see if that was any different.
Yeah.
And then he asked me to take responsibility for it if there was a problem.
Can you read in the chat what John Wayne said that Will Fly posted in here? Or can you not see that?
You want me to do it?
Oh, I guess Will can go ahead and ask.
Oh, but John Wayne, he says that if I offer it, it's on me. If you ask and I say, okay, it's still on me. And I get that. That's personal responsibility, but I would still feel compelled to make them whole.
I mean, you just, I mean, that could be their only wing. Can you imagine? I mean, that would make me feel awful if I,
Yeah.
use somebody's equipment and I broke it and now they can't fly for a month while they're getting parts. Even if I paid for it, it's like that's a whole month or X amount of time that they're without their baby. And
I know, man.
And they still go, this is not the original frame. This is broken, but it's repaired. It's different. My wing is the same, but it's been repaired and it's different. So I don't know. It just.
Yeah, I'd be like, now I feel really bad, man. Here, use Eric's wing.
Yeah. JP, you got your hand up, bud?
I do. We got time for a quick group shot.
Oh, yeah. I put in the chat if you guys want to jump on and talk with us. I put in the meeting ID and passcode. You could have been here on this picture that we're taking.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, cheese. Perfect.
Can I breathe?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw this. It was a few years back. It was Sean's genius idea to say paramotor instead of cheese, and every screenshot I took, his face was like,
Paramotor. Yeah, we don't say paramotor no more. It is cheese, and I think that's universal.
and there's a reason behind why cheese is why we say cheese, and I think that's why. I learned that lesson the hard way.
So
Well,
was getting the same vibe, hearing the same thing I was hearing from Sean. If you're going to ask to borrow someone's stuff or see if someone will offer for you to borrow their things, you'll go to the person that has a lot of wings, more than one wing.
believe it or not, I've heard at fly-ins, people are like, go ahead and how many people at fly-in say, hey, try this wing. Don't worry about if you mess it up because that's one of my wings that I don't even use anymore. Because I've heard that a couple of times. Don't worry about if you mess it up. That's just one of my old wings I don't even use anymore. I think I heard somebody say that to JP. Or was it Will? At
What?
Bad Apples.
It wasn't that bad, Apple. It wasn't me.
No. I've heard it before. Well, it's 8 o'clock. We have a big list here. Is there anybody in the chat that has any things that they would like to say that they wish they knew before they started paramotors? And if you do, write that down in the chat so we can talk about it real quick. Let's go ahead and go over what we talked about so far today. We talked about, wish we knew about the money that we had to put into the stuff afterwards, like the yearly sending in your wing, your maintenance on your motor, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of people talked about the group of people. I wish I knew a group of people before I started going to school or thought about getting into paramotoring. And that was just a lot of it. The community, group of people, listen to podcasts. Gear costs more than you thought, or actually you're going to buy more gear than you thought. Wish that they had a tandem flight or towing before I got into it. Wish I could have flown a B wing and not have bought an A wing right out of school. The amount to travel to your LZ and back, depending on if it's just your LZ down the road or a fly-in that's a couple states away. The proper gear to buy. You don't want to buy the gear on eBay before you go to school because everyone's going to be like, no, that's not good stuff. The proper wing, the size difference. We talked about the size difference of wings. One wing could be 28, but another company it's a 26 and it's the same thing. So not going by your square meters is important. And somebody talked about, I think it was Jim, you talked about your wing, how it didn't oscillate. It was nice and solid. Some of the low B wings I had are the same way, solid as a rock. You get up to higher B and you stow your brakes, you're just going to start to oscillate and you got to stop it. You got to actually be working with the wing on a higher B. That's my Gen Vantage 3 that I got, so I know exactly what that is. And multiple wings, because I wish that I would have known that I'm going to have multiple wings, which means I'm going to invest more money into this. I'm going to buy a new motor. I'm going to buy some new props because of the different pitch, possibly. The difference between the E prop and a helix are huge. If you've ever flown with how many people have flown with a helix?
I think we lost him.
And he's out of here.
Did you hit the button, Eric?
Oh, man, I
I've
thought
never
it was
flown with a
me.
helix before. I've only flown with an E prop and a wooden prop.
I've
I
never
broke
flown
my
a
first-
wooden prop. I've flown
Huh?
I've never flown a wooden prop. I have flown a E prop. And you know, that does kind of go back to just a little bit on the insurance part of it. A lot of instructors will offer insurance. I know ours was going to offer insurance. It was $500. And if you broke his equipment, it was covered under that insurance. Jade and I opt to not get that. And, you know, we didn't have any major issues. We had butt landings. Nothing ever got broken. But I'll tell you what, the second you get on your own gear, you make sure you run and that you ain't breaking nothing, because it's a totally different feeling now. Now you know that that's yours. So,
Especially if you don't have a backup prop, you know, if you can break your prop and you'll be done not only for the day, but for a couple weeks until you can get another one in the mail. If you
Yeah.
don't have, you know,
yeah,
especially an E prop. I mean, you look at an E prop wrong and it's gonna chip, you know. It's
Right.
I got the Chinese one. It looks like the Helix. And
what's it like KN or something like that? It's 2 letters, isn't it? Like an acronym. I think it's just
Vortex
yeah.
Aero, is it?
mine's got more than just 2 letters on it. But
oh,
it stands up way better than these wood props. These things get nicks in it. And I've been flying this one for a good 20 hours now, and I haven't got any nicks in it at all. I'm very
Nice.
impressed.
Bill Edge said wooden props tend to go into the wing. Don't ask how he knows.
yeah. If you break it, they splinter, right? And well, carbon fiber is gonna do that too. You break anything, right? And you're gonna have some damage, but
Yeah, I mean,
I think
they're less expensive though. I mean,
I don't think so anymore. The price has really gone down on the carbon
Really?
fiber props. When I first got into it, it was like $400 minimum for e-props and helixes, and I think they're right around the 300 range. And you're
That's
looking
what a
at
wood
like
prop cost.
280, I think, for a wood prop, somewhere around there. So yeah, if you do it right, the sales
So what's an E prop? I mean, I'm hearing like the props and everything.
perfect. When the
Different
e-prop
companies
E-prop
that
is
make these props, you know, like you can decide if you want fiberglass or you want wood. Is that what it is? That's how they make them now.
I don't think there's any fiberglass propellers. Most of them you're either going to be carbon fiber or wood is the predominant structures. E-prop is like a scimitar shaped. It's got like sharp, squared off sort of tip, which
Okay.
is supposed to be really good for efficiency, but it's also really lightweight. So it spools up quick, but it also makes it prone to be easily damaged and chipped. Whereas the Helix is a little bit heavier. It's also
Okay.
carbon fiber,
Okay.
but it doesn't have that snappy spool. But it has more momentum and a little bit more heft to it, so it's less likely to get damaged. Also, the rounded tips on the Helix make it less likely to get damaged too, because they're shaped to not,
So
chip. Basically.
certain motors take certain props. Is that what it is? Like sizes and all that, or just
Bolt pattern is a big thing
okay?
for engines. Like you can't run an Atom 80 prop on a Moster. I think, yeah, it's designed, the pitch and everything is designed for that engine as well. But also you got to be mindful of the size of your cage, because you don't want to try and jam a
right.
140
Okay.
centimeter prop in a 130 centimeter cage. It's not going to work. You're going to chop your lines and have a bunch of issues.
Interesting. Okay, so you pretty much have to get your cage first, and then you order your prop to fit the cage, and then
Typically,
you get your motor.
Typically, your setup will come with the prop, and you
Okay,
tend to that'll be pretty telling. That'll go with whatever size that is in the future. If
I
you've got
see.
more room, that you'll know you can go up 5 centimeters or whatever.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot. Yeah. Just, you think you just go out and buy a wing and a motor and here we go. And it's not like that at all.
Nope.
Okay, thanks for
Sure.
that.
Equipment for the individual.
Absolutely, yeah. You got to be mindful of your equipment.
So what, for new people coming into the sport, what do you guys think of, your initial investment? What would be a good initial investment coming into the, what can you expect?
15,000.
I would say 12.
Yeah. Well, I know, Amy, Mark is selling packages for 11 grand, and that is a wing and the frame, the engine. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was throwing in a helmet. I'm not 100% sure. But when he told me that, I thought that was just a killer deal. And that was good quality equipment.
Right. And that, I think, was the Black Friday deal we had going on with the helmet.
That could have been.
And I'm trying to think, was there a quick release prop going in there as well?
Yeah, he mentioned that too. So that's a good deal, and that's gonna be your initial investment. But of course, there you have all of your add-ons. It's kind of like buying a car. If you want power windows, it's going to be extra. If you want a spare tire, it's going to be extra. So
Flotation devices, which I was so blessed. I now have flotation devices on my frame.
yeah. Yep. Mike, what was your initial investment when you went into getting your electric paramotor?
Well, the electric paramotor itself was $8 grand, basically. And that's the 1 hour battery. And shipping and everything else with the hazmat. And then I went and I got another reserve because I'm not gonna take my PG reserve out of my PG harness. So another reserve was like another $900 or $1,000. And plus I had to buy a split bridle. So, and then I bought a speed bar to attach to it because my plan is to use my PG wing. But first I'm going to go hopefully to California with Daniello, and he's going to let me fly one of his SkyMax with a PPG wing and get 10 or 15 flights on that. Then I'll come home and I'll fly the SP-140 with my PG wing and see if I want to continue either to fly the PG wing or go to strictly a PPG wing. Okay. So, I mean, I'm trying to escape, another $3,700. If I fly his Nuvik, cubic wing and I like it, then I'll probably end up another 3,700. So, I mean, in this 9,000 for the SP-140 with a reserve and then another 3,700. So now you're up to $12,700.
Right.
For just a electric one. And I'm sure with the gas, you're going to have to be about the same place, it's about the same money. I mean,
yeah,
definitely a little bit.
Definitely sounds about the same. Jim, what were you at, with your, of course, that's Canadian, right? What was your price?
Well, now that I got the whatever you call it, the reserve, I'd say I've put, not including training, I'm at about 8,000 I might be US. I might be a little bit less, but then again, I did buy a used paramotor, and I got the wing, and I got a helmet, and I got everything, that pretty much everything I needed. I even got a second prop, and so I feel that I I did very, very well, is the way I feel about it. But also, I had been listening to all these podcasts for almost a year, thinking, analyzing, watching, understanding. I knew how to pick a wing that would work for my weight. I knew what type of a wing I wanted. I knew I wanted to be. Fortunately, I got a low beat. I think that's what it is anyway. And it's, like everything just kind of worked out really good for me. I don't, I see lots of people who don't succeed in with such success. So I feel for them, and I have actually benefited from my instructor as well, because he guided me. Even though I bought my own equipment, I wanted to put a electric start on it. I wanted to do a few extra things, and he said, just wait, just wait. And he said the electric start for the Kangoo, because he takes more of them off than he puts on, and the batteries overheat, and it adds, like, I don't know, he said 10 pounds or something like that. And so he saved me money that way too. So I have to be very thankful for my instructor and all of the information that you guys have propounded in the last couple of years.
Did everybody just talk about? I'm back, by the way. Hello, sorry about that. We had power flickerage and first world problems. We were just talking about what our initial investment in paramotors.
Yeah.
And Will, what'd
Yeah.
you say?
15,000.
15. Eric?
I would say you're right around the, I mean, if you just wanted to do the initial bare minimum package, you're going to be looking around 11 grand. If you're going to be doing reserve and communications and, electric start, you're going to be around the $15,000 range. And one thing on that electric start, I tend to agree with you a little bit, Jim, but I have found a few weak spots in the electric start that we have actually cured. And now we don't have problems with our electric start, even in cold weather. So that's a whole different show, but the electric start is nice.
Yeah, I wish, there are many times I wish I had it, but I am able to cold start it. So
Yeah.
it's not.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just trying to write down. I was trying to figure out what I was spending. As I'm writing it down, I'm remembering, oh, that's right, I went to Bad Apples. Oh, I went to Moonshiners. Oh, that's right, I did this. Oh, that's right, I did that. Oh, I went to some SIV courses. Oh, I've done this. Oh, that's right, I got I got all those cameras that I don't use very much, and just keeps on going. Oh, and I got all these 3D printers to make different things like chase cams, cool chase cams and throttles and different cool things with the paramotor, and it just keeps on going up and up and up. And I'm like looking at this total, I'm like, well, there's all my money. No wonder I can't have any other hobby or anything. I spent it all on this crap. But God, I can't believe how much I've spent. I think I got dogs barking, sorry.
And that poses a question to my mind. How do you know what you need to be successful in what you want to do with paramotoring? I mean, how much is it to where enough is enough or too much?
That's like asking somebody with a bad addiction how much is too much, because
pretty
Oh,
much.
man. Amy's camera just got ugly for a second. Anyways, no, I mean, how much is too much? There's no limit. The sky's the limit.
And speaking about sky's the limit, JP has got to go. He's maxed out his skies with us. And gotta leave.
Bye, JP.
Always a
Thank
pleasure,
you.
guys. I'm sure I will see you later throughout the week on the various shows. So yeah, always thanks for having me. We'll see you next time.
Awesome.
Those
Don't
guys.
forget
JP,
to send us
say-
that picture too, bud.
So
It's in
JP,
the group chat.
Thank you. Awesome.
You got it.
so you're bailing out, right? Hey,
What's that, Amy?
you're bailing out.
I'm bailing. Yes, I'm chucking the laundry, if you will, the metaphorical reserve on the show here. Bailing. What's up, Mark, in the background?
Oh, she put you on mute.
She wishes she could put me on mute.
No, I'm being a good girl, staying on mute if I'm not talking. Ugh.
All right, guys. Hey, don't forget to thumbs up the show, guys, in the chat. So
Thanks, JP.
always a pleasure, guys. Yep. Night, guys.
Thanks, JP.
Night.
Bye.
All right. And we lost another. And no one wants to come on the show. I put the meeting ID and the passcode in the chat. Oh, I guess Amy. Matt Sloper joined us.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Well, you-
right.
Hey, what did they show Linda? Linda, you see my shirt, right?
What does it
Oh,
say?
yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
For the people that
Yeah.
cannot see that are just listening
I
to us,
love
what does
it.
it say?
It says
Says-
paragliding talk 200 shows. Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Episode. Yes. That's cool. I know I'm still waiting for my shirt. Okay, for my son. I'm still waiting.
Oh, your son, he
Oh, I
should
got
have had him
mine.
going out the door as soon as he got him.
I
He's
know,
like-
right?
I know mine should have been the first one out. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah, you think
Telling
so?
you. I'm just gonna have to. I did message him. I said, "Come on, jump on for a little bit." So we'll see. It's 6:30, so you might just be getting done with dinner or whatever. But yeah,
We
Well,
probably
cool. Those
we
shirts
didn't
are
talk
cool.
about the initial investment, even though I didn't start out PPG, but paragliding isn't cheap either. You think because you didn't buy a motor, you're the training, is anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500, and then the harness and wing and everything. You're talking about you buy a decent new. You want to buy new when you're going paragliding.
right.
Because this way you kind of grow with it. And at the PG school, they provided for the first 2 days their equipment. And then once you decide to continue after that, they expect you to buy your own. So that while you're going to school, you're learning on your own equipment.
Right.
So when you go home, you're on the same equipment that you were in the school with. Well, that equipment was what, like $6,500?
How much was
Just
how much was your harness?
Well, the harness was $1,000.
GO1 the pod or just a regular?
No, just a regular harness
Yeah.
was $1,000, and then you're talking $1,000 for a reserve. So now you're $2,000, and then a wing was $4,200,
Yeah.
$4,250.
What wing did you get?
Well, I got a Nuvik Hulk 5. It's a low B, which he suggested because a lot of your low Bs, they're low Bs. They really are A's, except for, in the turquoise test, they have like 24 or 27 tests that they put them through. And if they fail one test just by 1 second of reinflation on their own, then it's automatically a B. So he was like, there's no need to get an A. Just get this low B. It's pretty much an A. I mean, other than a couple of things, which is no big deal, and you'll grow into it. So anyway, you're talking about, then you're going to buy a GPS, so you want to have a Vario GPS. And then like you said, cameras and helmets. And, my paragliding boots were $250.
Oh,
for a pair of
I
boots.
forgot about the boots. Yes, I got.
I mean, Paragliding boots are $250. They come from, the UK.
Yeah.
Because you can't get decent boots in the United States, ones without hooks.
Right.
You don't want to wear anything with hooks when so, then you go buy a flight deck and that costs money. And, and then I spent 2 weeks over in Santa Barbara. So now you're at an Airbnb for 2 weeks, gas, food, the lodging, and the school. So I spent $11,000 for 2 weeks. And that's just that. And then now I come over to PPG and spend another 11,000, 12,000.
Come on over. The water's warm.
Just like, okay, in 1 year you just spent $22,000, for this flight addiction.
Well, I mean, it's a sport. So I mean, what if you decided you wanted to get involved in curling? Curling, the thing with the ice and the broom, and
what are you gonna do? Get your own ice rink?
I don't know. I mean, that stuff's probably not cheap either when you add all the trips and I don't know what you do in curling, but it's probably not cheap.
I think every sport is going to cost you, $5 or 10 grand, depending on how much you enjoy your sport.
Yeah, get some horses and go barrel racing.
Yeah.
Just talk to my girls. My girls,
Well,
they
that's
spend
expensive.
millions on their horses and their barrel racing.
That's true.
Yeah, and your entry fees for the rodeos and
Mhm.
disc golf. They have all these weighted different discs for the different times you just like golfing.
Yeah. Yeah, my son does disc golfing. My son here in Petoskey does disc golfing. He's got a whole wall of discs that he collects, and buys or whatever, and it's insane. Yeah, it's a sport and it's an investment for sure.
Yeah, I think all sports are pretty expensive. I mean, before this, 20 years ago, I was road racing motorcycles, and it was nothing to spend $30,000 a year.
Yeah.
In racing fees and damage to bikes and travel, and, 30 grand a year. And you already had to spend 20 grand on a bike, so then you get into like things like golf. I used to golf and I used to spend $15,000-$20,000 a year golfing. I mean,
I just looked at that. How much?
$15,000 to $20,000 a year just to golf.
Honest to goodness, I was just looking at the average cost of golf. That is really expensive. That's
I mean, so all our sports are kind of like high end. I could say that I've been flying RC models for 40 years. And ever since FPV, that first person view with the goggles, has come in the last 10 years, I've spent probably $100,000 in 10 years in doing RC, airplanes and FPV stuff.
I forgot about the drones that I was into also before this.
I mean, you can spend $3,000, $4,000 on a drone.
I know. It's like, whatever you're into. And why fly a drone VR when you can get up there and be the drone and go any place that you want to and go higher than 400 feet?
Well, that's all my friends are jealous now because they're like, I tell them, I go, FPV's boring once you've been up in the air, paragliding or paramotoring.
It kind of is. I haven't used my drone since I've been flying.
Yeah.
I just don't.
I never thought about that. You guys are a bunch of drones up there now. That's pretty exciting.
And we'll talk about now the money Mark spent all of his years of doing RC, all the helicopters, all the airplanes and drones. It's just ridiculous how much one little airplane would cost, or a helicopter.
Yeah, helicopters are expensive.
Just imagine the size of the diamond on your hand had he not.
Whoa!
Wow. I'm looking in the chat and I see that John Wayne said he spent over $30,000. Travis D said he spent probably $60,000 on it, and Aaron I said 30 to 40K invested. Those are
miles.
Oh, was that miles?
Yeah, but I mean it's still a lot of driving for.
Oh, is that what he was talking about? Was the miles?
Expensive? Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I hated to see the total because now it's like, oh, I forgot my trike that I got. Oh, that's right. About this other thing. It's like, my God.
Well,
Well, you
response.
can't take it with you.
I have a comment for Will talking about my ring size of rock I could get 2 years ago when I was found out I was successful on kiting my friend's charger. Mark asked me, he says, what do you want for Christmas? Do you want a new ring or do you want a wing? And I said, I want a wing. So I will pick.
And he's like, crap. Crap, I could have got away with the cheaper diamond.
Yeah. He said, ring or wing? I said, I want a wing. That's what I want first. And for Valentine's Day, he did get me a new ring. So it's this right here. And it's perfect.
Aw,
So
Very nice.
pretty.
it has
What a
affinity, but
guy.
pick that for, forever.
Oh,
So,
that's right. Bribery
Oh yeah, bribing a
items for
spouse.
your wife. I forgot bribery for your wife. Yeah, it's like rings and jewelry. Yeah, I'm gonna be gone for a week with a bunch of guys in a dirt, field flying paramotors. Is that okay, honey? Here's a ring. You got to write that down. That's an expense.
right. And I don't need anything bigger than this, flying a paramotor. I mean, I had anything that was sticking up, I couldn't get a glove over it easily. So
Oh, true.
Oh, he's
true
getting away
that.
with a little bit of a cheapness too. That's right. It has to be low, has to be small and tiny. Okay, I like that.
right.
Is that what he told you?
No, that's what I said. He said, Amy, do you want a wing or do you want a ring? I said, I want a wing.
Honey, I'd get you a big ring, but it just
But-
won't fit.
yeah.
Well, I'm sorry.
Sorry, this ring is too heavy. You're gonna be kind of turning to the right nonstop.
Go to the left. I'll be going left because left.
There you go. Buy the ring to fit the wing.
Exactly. I could not. If I
There you go, girlfriend. See?
I
That's
could not
right.
get a glove over
Yeah.
anything. That would be useless to me.
Do you
And then-
see? Do you see the reason why guys don't have a bunch of jewelry? We have a bunch of toys. Girls have the same amount of money invested into their jewelry as we do with all of our toys.
It's fair.
Amy, I
No.
want you to think about this for a second, okay? Just think about what I'm going
Oh,
to say.
gosh.
Uh-oh.
If you have a big ring on your finger, engine torque will pull you to the right. If you have a big ring on your left hand, it'll just rest on the brake and keep you going straight. Don't let him tell you some story about a small ring
Yeah.
because it'll help you fly straight.
Amy's going to start an anti-torque ring store in Etsy.
I love it. I love it.
For everyone out there that wants anti-torque, we have anti-torque rings.
I love it.
Who
And I
who needs lamels when you can put on rings?
Big
And I
honking
will tell
5-carat diamond.
Eric, Mark did get himself a brand new watch for Valentine's Day also. So he has a lot of bling on his right wrist right now.
Well, I think
Anti-torque watch. Up there you go. There, guys, we got it too now.
tell him
Yeah.
to step up his game a little bit and tell him to quit telling you stories.
Hey, I'm happy I don't have my, Adam 80. So I don't really experience a lot of anything.
Oh, and Adam 80's turned backwards. So you're going to have to wear that ring on the right hand or just get more rings and put them on the right hand so you fly straight.
There you go.
And we were talking about equipment and expense. I was thinking about Jade and Eric. They have to have all that warm weather gear more than we do. So that's so much more expense to stay warm because they fly in sub-zero temperatures.
Yeah, it was a little expense, but let me tell you, you can't put a price on comfort.
That's true.
That's true too. And then we have to get into reserves, front reserve versus the side mount. Throttles. What throttle do you prefer and why? I mean, there's so many more variables in this.
Well,
Exactly.
there are a lot of variables, and there are some. I mean, you can get, okay, you guys know And there's a lot of people out there that don't know this. But when you hear Black Hawk or Flat Top or all these different names of these paramotors, they're only talking about the frame. So you can get a Black Hawk, a Black Hawk, but change out the motor, change out the throttle, change out your harness. So, one person's Black Hawk is totally different for somebody else's, because you can have any throttle that you want to, which is cool because I'm actually printing out a new throttle too. We're gonna be trying that out. You can get any type of harness, mostly any type of harness. A lot of people like the Dudek comfort harness, so they change out that on their paramotor. So just because you get a paramotor and it costs you $8,000, that doesn't mean that you might not want some upgrades in the future. A new harness, a new throttle, a new this or that. Thank you, Amy. I didn't even think about that. And also, what do you guys think about the front mount or side mount reserve, like Amy was talking about? I got a front mount. That means that I can go from my rig to another rig, to my trike, to the Atom 80, to the Course Air, and I only have one reserve. That's why I like my front mount. How about the rest of y'all?
I never thought about that before, how versatile that is. I have to have a side mount because I've tried a front mount before, and my short legs, the front mount, I know it's not that much extra weight, but it's still extra weight in the front. Plus, it bounced on my middle thighs way too much because I have short legs, and it wasn't comfortable on my takeoff.
Interesting. Jim, what kind of new reserve did you get?
Yeah, I'm gonna have it on my lap as well, a front mount, so that I can take it. So I have more versatility.
Sounds good. How about the rest of y'all?
Mine's still in my car.
Yours is still in your car. You don't use it? Okay.
Will, do you keep it in the front or the side of the car?
It's in the back seat, out of reach.
That's even better.
Oh, and Will, I think somebody asked a question last week. How high do you have to be before it works?
I didn't catch that, Jim.
I didn't catch it, Jim. You went blah, blah, blah.
How high do you have to be before it works?
The number that I've heard is 500 feet. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but most of my flying is done low to the ground.
A lot of successful deployments at 100 and below have been talked about and videoed.
Then there you have it. Is there a specific number, recommended or whatever number?
I had a feeling of 2 to 5. I used to always hear at least 500 feet, but like Sean said, I've just recently learned that it has worked for someone at 100 feet. Most people say minimum 2.
And there's a lot of variables with that also.
Was it freshly repacked, or has it been packed for the last 2 years?
Exactly. It's the luck of the draw. It is. Are you getting it repacked annually? Because that's going to create, if you don't, it'll create a memory. You're going to throw out something that could have been wet at one time and you didn't know about it. So that's very important. We have, all of our units have side mounts on them. So both trikes are side mount, and then the Parajet that I fly is a side mount, and they are not a steerable reserve.
Yeah.
I don't even
Mine-
know wherewithal to steer a reserve if I had to pull my reserve in emergency.
Well, it has the brake handles just like your main one does.
I know, but I just don't think mentally I would be thinking about that. Like, oh my gosh, let me try to figure, to grab the handles to steer it.
Well, that's why you have to, think about it, every time that you go up, what happens if, I throw this reserve out, that's just that's one of my pre-flight things that I do. Where's my reserve? Which, how would I throw it out? Where would it go? Don't forget to pull in your main wing, stall ball it. I mean, it's just something that you go over. I probably go over everything way too much, but then again, I have students that I nonstop go over everything with too. You haven't done a SIV yet, have you, Amy?
No, but I did in a simulator practice throwing a reserve.
Okay.
because I'm a right-handed. My throttle's on my right hand. My reserve's on my left side now.
If you ever get a chance, throw a reserve under an SIV that's safe. It's interesting. It's totally different. It's changed the way I think about throwing a reserve, because once you throw one, you're like, oh, well, I don't mind throwing my reserve if something happens, rather than you're falling going, I'm trying to get this undone. I don't want to pop the reserve out because I don't know what I need to do. So I think that throwing a reserve under instruction is a pretty smart thing to do, I think. Anybody throw a reserve under instruction like an SIV?
Have not.
No,
Bill H said that he's not going to check the altitude before he throws his reserve. I guess not. But and David Ruff, that was a good point. It has more to do with reaction time. I mean, when you're that close to the ground, and 100 feet, that is not a lot of time to react.
No, that's just right above, tree level almost.
Mhm.
Tree level is about 90, 80, 90 feet or so. Get them higher trees, about 100 feet. So treetop is just a little under 100, I would assume. That's not a lot of time. But how fast are you going this way? Or are you falling straight down trying to, fix your wing before you decide to throw it? So, I mean, where are you in the throw? Are you in the arc of, oh, something happened, now I'm going down, do I throw? Or are you going down at a certain speed? That's something to think about too. Where were you before you threw the reserve? I'm at 100 feet, something happened, I'm throwing it? Or are you going straight down and throwing it?
Well, that's a really good point, Sean, about throwing the reserve, because if you've never done it before and it's a situation where you need to do it, I could see the trepidation of throwing it, because you don't know if you should, if you shouldn't. I mean, that uses up valuable time right there, that thought process, instead of just, I'm gonna throw it. So I mean, that would make sense to throw your reserve under supervision, so you kind of know what to expect. And
it changes.
Actually,
It changes the way you think about a reserve.
Yeah. And SIV, Sean, when did they, what was their rule of thumb for knowing when the wing will not become flyable to where you need to throw that reserve?
Well, what we did is we actually said that on my last tow, we're going to throw a reserve. So let's go ahead and throw down some big wing overs, do some fun things. And then if you don't collapse your wing, then I'll just say reserve, 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 and you throw it anyway, no matter what. And that's actually what happened, because I was able to control the descent and the different things I was throwing down. He said, just reserve, reserve, reserve. So I threw it as I was going forward, which was interesting, because you're going forward and all of a sudden you're like, what? And you're like, okay, I guess to deploy. Now you got this big wing that's just in this really mesmerizing plasma. It's called a stall ball right there. And you just pull in your brakes and this big old stall ball just comes at you like, it's pretty cool. And once you get it in, then by the time that you get it in and you're looking around, you're hitting the water. So it didn't take but 30 seconds to, pull the reserve, pull the stall ball in, figure out where I am, looking at the boat and going, okay, ready for splash. But it was comfortable. Matt Sloper, did you want to say something before we all started talking?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, on my SP140, the reserve is on the right. And I made sure that it was on the right side, because on my PG, it's also on the right. So just for muscle memory, it's always on the right. But
where's your throttle?
Throttle's on the left.
Okay.
Throttle, left-hand throttle. It's ambidextrous. You can do either way. So on the SP140, but I'm thinking about doing more thermal flying in my PG. So I'm probably going to get a second reserve for my belly, because they say when you're flying thermals with PG, Two reserves is like having one. So,
I agree.
you know, I don't think I would do two reserves on a PPG because that, like you guys are saying, you could switch things around, but there's such a big weight difference between a PG reserve and a PPG reserve, that you would be way overloaded if you flew the PG reserve on your PPG, it's just,
Yeah.
My PPG is 140 kilogram reserve and my PG is 120 kilogram reserve. So that's a lot of money to invest the second one for the PPG. But like you said, I mean, if you're flying 100, 200 feet off the ground, you may not have time to use it. But if you're up high, but then you guys are talking about like most paramotor guys really don't have a call for throwing a reserve because you tend to fly in pretty benign air, right?
Pretty much. I mean, I think that the only times that I saw on videos, other than, I guess throwing a reserve seems to be like a midair collision. Not so much the weather and things like that, but usually midair collisions.
Okay.
Is that about what you guys have seen as far as? I mean, we fly good. I mean, I don't have to worry. I don't think that my wing will ever collapse or I'll hit something and fall. But midair collisions, I have seen those. Like that one guy that was flying and that big old bird got caught in his lines and he went down. He had to throw a reserve. Another paramotor is flying. They don't see you, or they want to walk on your wing and they collapse it. I mean, we just saw another video about that not too long ago where people got tangled up in a wing. So I don't think that you have to worry too much about just flying around having a good time and all of a sudden your wing collapses. I think it's midair collisions. What do you guys think?
Well, that plus it's better to have one and not use it than to not have one and you wish you did.
I wish it wasn't in the car, damn it.
Exactly.
I mean, can you imagine your final 1 minute, 60 seconds as you're going down? Oh, crap, it's in the car. Oh, my. I could have, for 2 seconds, I could have clipped it on, but no, here I'm. 60 seconds, you're falling to the ground. You're like,
Yeah, story of my life.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, all the other collisions down on the ground, like, hitting power lines or trees or something, that's below 100 feet, and you're probably doing, I mean, how are you going to throw a reserve if you hit a power line? Even the big, tall power lines, I don't think that you could collapse it and then throw a reserve. I guess you could, but I think midair collisions.
So Dave Ruff has a question.
Yeah.
He says that he says, I fly one, sometimes two when I'm motor thermaling. Depends on the air, the day, and how I'm feeling. I fly one reserve free flight. The motor, I feel, has more tangle points or more, tangle point. Why the two? So in other words, so why flying with the two reserves? Is that what he's asking?
Yeah, why fly with two? Well, I would think two. There's been many times when what I've seen on videos is, guys get into a riser twist too bad, and they go or they're in, a G maneuver, and they get all tangled up. They go to throw the reserve, and the reserve goes right into the main.
Yep.
So now you got, your reserve is tangled in your main because it was behind you and you threw it that way. And with the centrifugal force, everything starts going the same way.
Yep.
That's why acro guys always have two reserves. And a lot of acro PG guys, they have cutaway systems where, they can cut away their whole main risers and everything, so that they're clean and they just have a reserve because of that, because of getting the first reserve tangled in their main wing.
I've seen that. I think they were throwing beamers out, the steerable ones.
Yeah, and that wasn't a question. I misunderstood. He's saying is why I fly with 2 on motor, more tangle points because of
Yeah.
more tangle points.
So he flies 2 on a motor. Okay. Yeah.
If I had the money, I'd have more than one. The reason why I got that front mounted one, because, you know, I just want to spend $1,200 and fly anything. I mean, if I'm borrowing my friend's, you know, paramotor, you know, I can put it on that. Like when I flew the SP 140, you know, was able to just, I don't think I actually put it on because I was just doing some low maneuvers, but I could put on my reserve on the SP 140 that I flew. So Mike, the SP 140, freaking amazing.
Okay. Good.
Can't wait for you to fly yours.
I can't wait.
Video.
Can't wait to see the video. Yeah.
Well, you probably only get one video, and that'll be the maiden, and then that's it.
Oh, come on now. We want the
Hey, if you
full-
look on my channel, look on my YouTube channel. I only did a maiden. I have one flight, my first maiden on the mountain, and one on ridge soaring at the coastal. And that's it. Because you just have all these cameras and all these tangle points, and then who has time to go through 2-3 hours of footage?
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? The job that you do, Will, is amazing.
Yeah, his videos are awesome. It looks like Lear, PPG Lear, LEAR.com needs to head on out. Eric, thank you for hanging out with the show.
Yeah, you bet. Great show tonight. Everybody in the chat, everybody on the panel, you know, this is awesome. Great to talk about. Yeah, we'll see you guys on the next show.
Sounds awesome. Thanks, buddy. Hey, so you got a show coming up tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we have the Tuesday night hangout on ppglear.com. We're going to be talking about the easy pace fly-in, and we're also going to be talking about the fly-in that's coming up in 2 weeks down in Okeechobee. So we have both promoters that are going to be coming on. It'll be a good show, and we're going to try to get the next month or so, we're going to try to get as many promoters to talk about their fly-ins as possible, so you guys know what to expect when you show up at the fly-in.
Good deal. Awesome. And your wife does a show on Wednesdays?
Yeah, but that's nothing. No, you can tune in to paramotorgirl.com. She has the Girls Just Want to Fly, and this week she has Teresa Mixer on. And she's going to be talking about her paramotor experience. So it will be a really good show.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Eric, for joining us tonight. And we'll see you tomorrow on your show at ppglear.com.
Bye, guys.
I gotta run too.
You got to run, or you got to fly, or you got to walk, you got to drive.
I know. Don't.
I mean, is it
run
really
too fast.
run? I mean, is it really run?
I gotta go.
Well, thanks, Jim, for hanging out with us. You do a lot of printing up there in Canada. So anything that we want, if we want to create our own stickers or decals or anything like that, we can get up with you at carepp.com. And if we want to see you fly around in your crazy shenanigans, we go to careppg.com.
That's
You
right.
betcha. Thanks, guys. You have a great evening.
Thanks, Jim. Have a good one. I guess we're saying goodbye to everybody because looks like Will's got to go.
It's almost 7, so it's like what, 9 there?
Yeah, I guess we've been talking about this for 2 hours. It's about time to go. So all right, Will,
This was fun. I had a good time. This was really good.
it'll be really fun. So Will, go ahead and do your sign off real quick.
Yeah, so Will Fly, check me out on YouTube or go to willflyppg.com for some corny humor and mediocre videos.
We love it. All right, Will, thanks for joining us, buddy. We definitely
I had
appreciate
a
it.
great time. I really did.
I can't believe
Thanks,
2
Eric.
hours just went by. That's amazing.
I know.
It was
It's fun.
Well, y'all have a good night.
All right, there, Will.
Bye.
And Paramom,
Ah,
tell
it's a fun night. I really
us-
enjoyed this.
give
We
us
had a
your
lot of good topics. and I learned a lot, like I always do in everything. And then we had the lovely Amy George with us tonight and Mr. Matt Sloper. And it's really cool. I had a good time. Thank you so much. And don't forget to tune in to paraglidingtalk.com on Thursday night with your awesomest host, Robert Michaels.
All
and if
right.
you got the shirt, you better be wearing it. So. Yeah, much love, everybody. Much love.
Much love. Thank you, Linda Anderson. If you want to get up with her or want to be on the show, make sure you get up with Linda Anderson. You can go to paramomusa.com. That forwards over to our Facebook page to say, hey, I want to be on the show. I want to talk
Give me a
paramotors.
holla. That's
Give
right.
her a
Get you on the
holla.
show. Easy peasy.
Awesome. We also got Amy George in the house. Your husband runs something interesting and something about a paramotor company or something. Can you hook him up and drop some links and tell us what it's all about?
www.paraswagusa.com, and the company is Paraswag USA. He started the company almost 2 years ago to make it paramotoring more affordable to people and offer great deals. We have just about everything you can think of that you would want, and then some for paramotoring, and coming out with the lighted prop, starting to get production underway, and give him a email or message him. I guess should I give out his phone number? Everybody can text him. I don't know, but go Paraswag USA, hit on the website. How to get in touch with them is on the website. If you don't see anything on the website, email him and we can still get it for you, because the website's a lot to manage. So
Yep, that's over at paraswagusa.com. If you guys want stickers sent to you, just email me, ppggrandpa@gmail.com. Say, hey, I've been watching episode 111 and I want some free stickers. Just let me know where to send them and I'll send off some ClearProp TV, some Paraswag, and I got a whole bag of stickers that I need to give away.
oh wow.
Yeah, look at all of them from PPG Zone and just all over the place. All right, so email me. We also got Mike, Matt Sloper in the house. Was able to hang out with us too, talking about paramotors and give us a couple of insights when it came to PG, since he's a paraglider. So, Mike, how can we get up with you? Are you on the internet anywhere, or are you just hanging out with us on Monday nights?
No, I'm on Facebook under Michael D'Antonio, and then my YouTube is just Matt Sloper for that. And I have an Instagram. I believe it's Mike.MadSloper. But I'm not sure on that. I don't use it too much, but mainly just here on YouTube and on the Facebook.
And you can find me on myspace.com. No, I'm just kidding.
But thank you for having me on the show. It was a good time. I enjoy watching your show on a weekly basis and learning a lot.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very
joining
much.
us.
I enjoy doing this. If you want to see my crazy shenanigans, you can always go to iflyparamotors.com, which is going to be a line of clothing in the future. So, if you listen to this, in year 4 of this, iflyparamotors.com is probably my underwear line, and it's blossomed, and everybody wants to get some grandpa underwear.
You have underwear? Oh, you're doing underwear? Are you serious?
She was not listening to the whole show, was she?
No, because I'm taking late from tutoring.
You're doing something on the computer. You listen, all of a sudden grandpa's saying something about grandpa underwear.
Well, no, I came in straight from tutoring, and I thought, because I got your message earlier, and I thought, well, let me see what's going on. So, no, I missed the first 15 minutes of the show.
No, I was talking about the PPG Grandpa I Fly Paramotors. I was just being funny, saying that it's going to be a line of clothing in the future.
Yeah, I heard that, and I was thinking, that's cool. Line of clothing would be awesome.
I don't see why not. I mean, right now you can go over to iloveppg.com, and that's our merch store.
I love PPG boxers.
What? I love PPG boxers, and you can get your very own para gloves and your para socks.
my
This is
gosh.
looking good.
A
Pair
pair
of
of
socks.
socks and a pair of gloves, Linda, and a pair of pants and a pair of underwear.
There's lots of paras out there, just depending on what para we're talking about.
But while we're talking the subject, you're talking about a new line of clothing. I do have something in the works I've been tossing about for the last few days.
Mhm.
So I'm not going to, I did think about you too. So I guess that's why when I got the message about the show, it's like, well, let's go ahead and head over, because I was thinking about bugging you the other day because I have a technology question. But then I thought I'd wait and ask you when I get into actually having something tangible of what I have in my mind.
Oh, well, just call me. You got my number. Just call me tomorrow sometime. We'll talk about paramotors.
Because I wanted the more value, and baking takes up too much time. I don't have the time for that.
I can't even imagine doing what you were doing and all the donations you were doing for Resurgence PPG and all that. So, I mean, you've done a lot, for us, for the people, for the paramotor pilots, for the sport.
Yeah, but I think what I have in my mind now, and I'll talk to you about later, is going to be more valuable.
Jewelry.
No, it's not
Anti-torque jewelry. Anti-torque jewelry.
Oh, but that is an awesome idea. That is awesome.
Well, well, I guess you got to say that you got to get more and more, diamonds and gold from your husband now, so you can anti-torque. You need your anti-torque jewelry.
I'll tell him that, but personally, I'm just not that kind of person. You know how people have to have, I need this bling so I can feel like, he loves me. That's the worth of it and all that. I'm not like that. So
No, buy it yourself. Use his money. he doesn't need to buy anything. Just use his money and go buy yourself some anti-torque jewelry.
I think I'll start making some anti-torque jewelry.
That would be really cool. Maybe a band that has a Paraswag USA around it. Get you a little bit 5 extra pounds right there. There's your anti-torque jewelry.
There you go. Sounds like a plan.
Hey, that I was saying the other day that I'm 3D printing throttles and different things for the paramotor. I'm printing out a paramotor. I'm actually going to have a full hoop. I'm printing out everything. It's going to be really cool. I'll be flying it soon. And that's why this is why you don't see me. It's like I'm training students. I'm working on these projects. Theflightbrothers.com is the Flight Brothers is our manufacturing part, where we have, the clear prop TV thing here. We got Paramotor TV, and we got the Flight Brothers that we're working on. The things that are going to be coming out this year are going to just blow your mind.
Do you have a blueprint?
Huh?
Do you have a blueprint for that?
Yeah, right here.
3D print? Or did you come up with your own print?
Yeah, I made it through these slicing programs.
Wow.
So I'm going to try, once because it takes a lot of carbon fiber filament.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more expensive, but you get these things and you put them all together. Think about it. It's a hoop.
Yeah. Well, we made a chess set, 3D printed a chess set for one of Rose's project, but I'm just saying, and we had a pattern for that. So that's what I'm asking. No,
I'm just been working on it. Looks like Mike's got to go too. So thanks, Mike, for jumping on here and hanging with us, buddy.
You're welcome to come back anytime.
Nice
thank you.
you.
Nice to meet you, Amy.
You too.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thursday.
Sean, I'm actually impressed. You have impressed me highly.
Dude, have you? I got
Dude.
I got like 4 3D printers now.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like really serious about this. All these things that I'm doing is like, yeah, this is the way to manufacture stuff, very inexpensive, and
Yeah.
and you can change it too. If you don't like something, you can change it. If you want the we're still on the air. I thought we were no.
Oops.
Oh,
It's
so anything that we just talked about, guys, you can't tell anybody about 3D printed paramotors coming out. Oh, and I've been working on the trike thing too. Look at these 3D printed things I made for my trike.
Have you stopped the recording?
Exactly.
So no, I still haven't, but they know not to tell anybody, you know, that we're talking about this stuff. So, you know, you
Well,
get a little. What's
I'm
that?
sorry. It's funny you mentioned the trike because I was thinking in my head when you were talking about the paramotor 3D printed trike.
Working on that too.
Wow.
Yep. And here's something interesting. You can go to Harbor Freight and get tires already mounted with everything that you need, hub and everything for 10, 15, 20 bucks. So I can get 3 of those, put them on my trike, make the hoops and everything, and have a 3D printed paramotor and a 3D trike probably with the next month of March coming up. Yeah,
That's
this is gonna be really cool.
crazy.
Okay. So what about crashing? You know, most people with the trike, they have the cage and all that, and it holds up and it crash because I have seen it, you know, at moonshiners, and it protects them. So what about 3D printed trikes, the cage and all that? How collapsible or easily is it to come apart?
Well, with this one, it's pretty much we're putting it kind of all together so it's solid, and then after we build it, then we're going to figure out where would we actually want to fold it and bring it together so it's easy to pack or put on a trailer or just pack up in the back of your car type of thing. So
Right.
been working on that. Yeah.
Okay. And it's going to be ultra lightweight.
Yeah, well, we are going to be using aluminum and carbon fiber and the filament. We also got this stuff too, which is the stuff that we're going to be using to make our own throttles.
Well, people already 3D print throttles though.
Yeah, it's no big deal, but I want to 3D print as much as I can
Right.
on a 3D printed paramotor and then go fly a 3D printed paramotor.
Right.
Which would be very fun and interesting. Now, obviously, I've got to have a real harness.
Right.
You know,
And
I could 3D print the tires, but that's a lot of time printing it. I mean, I could.
It'd be cheaper to buy the wheels on your own, the tires and all that, I think.
Yeah. So it'll be really interesting to see, you know, if this thing can fly. So if I just don't come back for a week or two, it didn't work.
Oh, wow.
No.
Oh,
I'll make sure everything works before we, you know, test fly these things.
This was fun.
Everybody safety, fly with a buddy.
You know what? That's really interesting that you say that. When I first started getting into paramotoring, I did fly with buddies all the time. After my first SIV course, where I knew that, you know, it's so difficult to collapse a wing. And then if it does collapse, it's so easy for it to uncollapse, you know, and reopen. And if you don't do anything stupid, it's really difficult to collapse a wing that's in flight. So I knew going out by myself and flying, you know, different cross countries and going to different places, I was going to be all right. That's when I started flying every morning, every evening, and if noon was less than 8 miles an hour, I'd be up flying midday.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the first maiden flight of the 3D printed paramotor.
Which I'm going to be flying an actual wing. I'm not going to be flying a 3D printed wing, not yet.
Right.
But that harness, remember, if I'm hooked into the harness and the harness is hooked into the wing, no matter what happens to the trike, paramotor, whatever, it could all fall apart and just, you know, just rain down is parts, I'll still be in the harness connected to the wing.
So you would just glide on down like an engine out. What
Pretty
you
much.
think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't worry. I'll be safe.
It's just mine right now.
That's
So
right.
that'd be so cool. I can't wait.
Yeah, but don't tell anybody. This is still secret.
Secret.
I mean, this is only between us three right here. Nobody else can hear us. So it's
Really? Are you sure? Because we're still recording.
what?
That's asking.
What?
It's
No.
still showing recording.
That's what I
No. It can't be that. All right. All right. Well, anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to us and babble about paramotors and stuff like that. We definitely had a good time. This is episode 111. And next one is going to be, do we have somebody for the 7th of March yet?
No, nobody yet, but I'll be working on that. Now that I'm feeling better, I can get back in my zone and
Well,
start doing my magic.
if somebody out there is listening to PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast on their favorite podcasting app and they're like, you know what, I would love to be on that show, just get up with me, ppggrandpa@gmail.com, or get up with Linda Anderson at paramomusa.com, which forwards over to her Linda Anderson Facebook page. So get up with us. Let's talk about paramotors. And if you guys want to, if you're in the Arkansas area, Central Arkansas area, want to fly paramotors, well, I actually got a school I've been running since last summer, and it's paramotorarkansas.com. Check that out and let us know if you want to hang out with us and fly some paramotors.
There you go.
You do? Well, yeah, I know you. Every time that you say that you can come over, something happens and the wind goes crazy, or we get some weird snowstorm that comes through.
Yep.
So one of these days, I can't wait for you guys to come over and fly again.
Right. It'll be awesome.
Anybody else have anything before we say goodnight to everybody? I still can't see the chat because whenever the power and everything went flickery, I can't see the chat at all. So
I can't see it either, but thank you, chatters.
thank you very much. If there's anybody there, I can't even tell if anybody's out there. So, I mean, I don't even know if people are watching or.
I don't either. I'm sure they're there. Yeah,
Well,
I'm sure they're there, but it's all good.
the people that'll listen to it all the way through to now are the truckers out there that have nothing better to do than to listen to a podcast all the way to the end and hope that it keeps on going, because now they look at their watch and go, wow, I've been driving for the last 2.5 hours listening to these crazy people talking about paramotors. Awesome.
It's good.
And I've actually had some emails that said, thank you for doing long shows, because 2 and 3 hours goes by so quick listening to the Paramotor show. So
Hey, you said new show idea.
yeah,
Have a show of all the paramotor truckers out there come on the show and talk about their experiences of being a truck driver and a paramotor.
you guys that are driving your trucks and listening and want to be
Good
a
idea.
paramotor pilot, get up with us. Let us know, because all you need is Zoom on your cell phone and you can be on the show live and talk to us and actually be on the show and then listen to yourself the next day. It's pretty cool.
Good idea.
Because if you think of it made, they're getting paid to drive the country and to get to see all these wonderful new places to fly.
And because you can pack up a paramotor in your back seat, pretty much, you can fly all 50 states.
Right.
Well, I don't know how you're going to get to Hawaii, but
No.
on your truck.
Was talking about the expensive travel and things like that. Truck drivers have it made.
You know what? Maybe I need to be a truck driver and hit every state flying while doing my route. I'd stop and pull over and say, I don't care. I'm going to go fly.
You have a place to sleep. You got your truck. You're getting paid to travel. You could have a portable flight school, Sean.
I didn't even think about that, but that sounds way too much. Whew. I think I'm strung out now. I can't imagine doing that, but it sounds interesting. So anybody that wants to be on the show, just let us know, ppggrandpa@gmail.com or paramomusa.com. It actually looks like Oh, guess who just joined us?
Who?
You won't believe it.
Mark.
Oh, oh,
We were just gonna leave, and Robert Michaels is jumping in to say hello.
Oh, Robert. Mark.
that's my boy. That's my boy.
Well, that
That's
is so
good.
awesome.
He's like, I gotta jump in. He's so
Well-
busy. He is so busy.
Well, as soon as
When
we
you
say
got
hi,
when you got 4 boys, okay, 4 boys, and you're trying to keep them all under control. Yeah. He's a very busy man. Yes. And flying and the church and
There.
working.
there he is.
Now we're cooking with Crisco.
Yeah, we are. How's it going, buddy?
Good.
Hi.
Hey, since our topic tonight was things I wish I knew before I started paramotors, you would be a good person to talk about because it's not even paramotors, it's also the paragliding. So before you got into paragliding, is there anything that you wish you knew before you got into paragliding? And do you think that you knew everything before you started flying paramotors?
Good questions.
Yeah, we had a lot of questions tonight, or a lot of people that answered it. Mostly it was, I wish that we knew better, or the instructors, the good instructors, bad instructors. How do you choose? A lot of it was all about people. I wish I would have known more people. Had a group of paramotor pilots or PG pilots that I could have hung out with before I went to school. So
Yeah, I think a really good one is the who is a good person to talk to, because there's certain people that will just invoke fear. They'll impose their own fears on you. And had I listened to a couple of the people in the beginning, I would have never flown.
yes.
That's a big one. Careful who you hang out with. I wish I would have known certain people that that were not good influences. If I would have known, I would have probably kept my distance. I think the biggest one that I wish I would have focused more on kiting in the beginning.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The more that you have control in the beginning, this is just my opinion. The more control you have, the less likely you are to get messed up on launch. Typically, you don't have a whole lot of weird stuff happen on landings. It's usually on launch, especially for free flight. And if you can kite your wing, you're going to have a much better chance of enjoyment. And you look like this is telling all, but this sport there is some pride involved. You have to maybe you have to have a little bit of pride in your techniques, and that you're good at your pre-takeoff checks and your safety. I think it's important to be passionate about how good you are. Like, don't just say, oh, I'm just a weekend warrior and that's it, and you just go out there and you fumble the ball every time. Go out with an intention to be better than you were the first time. I know a lot of people do that, but it's something I think in the beginning I would have strived a little harder to be better.
Very
That's
good.
interesting.
Very good.
More
Yeah.
kiting more kiting before school, or more kiting after you got back from school, and just more kiting in general?
Yeah, if I during training, I was actually I had already been kiting quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So during kiting, during training, I was actually helping some other students because I had already pretty well figured out how to manage the wing. And the next task after kiting for like 2 or 3 hours was to go to the bunny hill and try to send it.
Your definition of bunny hill is actually being able to launch and fly, or just run down the
Yeah.
hill and catch a little bit of air?
It actually depends on, because I was pretty light on my wing. I flew.
Oh,
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I was probably 20 feet off the ground for a little while.
okay.
I did, during my training class, I did watch somebody do a header, cartwheel, and get tangled up, and actually the guy smacked his face on the ground, so he had like a scar on his face, like a big bloody yeah. And he actually he had came with the intention to get signed off, and actually left early because I think he was kind of over it. He thought that maybe he was going to come, and that one day he was just going to all of a sudden become a paraglider pilot. But he had very little control of the wing. The ground handling, the schooling part was not very good for him. And I don't think he had time on the ground.
So more practice in general. So like after school, you come home and you just do more kiting, more practicing. I agree. That's very important. I'm writing this all down. I got a whole list. So you came up with some good stuff.
Awesome.
More time.
Yeah. So segue to paramotoring. I would say my
You go to the bathroom anytime?
my big thing was I kept leaning forward too much. Like my idea of launching was I had to put the power into the wing just like I was free flying. But that's not the case. You don't have to. With a motor, you just hit the gas, lean back, and let it push you. And I really didn't learn to trust the paramotor until probably 30 flights in.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Lean back. There's something to be said about when you lean back, you're pointing your thrust at the ground, pointing your body into the air. Like if you didn't do anything, if let's just say like you see the guys standing in the grass and they're just leaning all the way back with the throttle, like full throttle. And it almost looks like, oh my gosh, if he lets off the gas, he's going to totally fall on the ground. If I would get more comfortable with, I would have spent more time learning what that power was like. I was hesitant, I think, because I didn't want to blow up somebody's prop or damage somebody's equipment. So I had everything that I did, I was very delicate. But once I got my own paramotor and started sending it, I guess there was a little bit more leniency.
That's interesting.
I need you to be my guest next Monday. Can I book you for next Monday? I know you fly on Mondays.
Now you flew paragliding for how many years before you took up paramotoring?
Good question. I think it was at least a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say about 2.5 years.
And how long now have you been flying paramotors? A year or so?
Yeah, so over a year, consistently, where I'm able to go out. It's not every weekend. If it's flyable, if there's decent weather to free fly, I go free fly.
And your love is still free flying?
Oh yeah, it's very rewarding to have a good flight and with free flight. Not that it's not rewarding to fly paramotors, but paramotors it's just a different. I would say it's a different sport altogether. I mean, it's tied together by a paraglider, but it's like, I don't want to demean paramotoring, but it's like chess and checkers. I don't have to think very much when I get on my motor. It's just, I can put some music on and jam out and just go on an adventure and go check out places that I never would have been able to check out before.
Yeah.
I rarely will go and fly the motor where I free fly because I've already seen all that. I've already been there. And but I will go and explore areas where I'm like, man, I wonder if that spot will work, if there'll be lift there, and I'll go and explore that. And that's pretty fun. And then scouting new sites, maybe some potential free flying spots that we could pioneer. That's always fun too. Go and check those out.
Yeah.
Mark.
What's Mark doing? Are we showing his new shirt?
Yeah.
Does anybody know how he's doing?
I texted him yesterday, and
Oh, yeah, that's right.
he's hanging in there. I think that's literally what he said. Let me.
Robert, we're still live. We're still
Yeah,
live.
He said hanging in there. That's what he texted me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is he still in the hospital?
No, he's out. He's at home.
So he's had all of his surgery and stuff, and he's at home.
Yep.
Well, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, doing much better than we thought initially, which is great.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a tough cookie.
Oh, he's young too. He's young yet.
Hey, he had a lot of people
Fine.
praying.
Yeah, he did.
There's probably a lot of people praying for him that don't really even know him.
That's
They got
true.
sick.
Yeah, the community in general. That's right. That's what we're about.
That's right.
Thanks, Mark, for my phone.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Your son needs to be on next week. Lots of great information between the comparisons of the two.
Yeah, that's something that we can do. Maybe just talk about the difference. What's the difference between, what's the true difference between paragliding and paramotoring? Because, paramotoring is paragliding with a motor. So what if what do you think is easier? Starting off with paragliding, then moving over, transitioning to going from paragliding to paramotoring, or from going from paramotoring to paragliding?
Well, I'm not sure what would be the easier transition, but I would say that if you can do it, start paragliding first and strive to be good at paragliding, and motoring will come. I'll say it, you'll appreciate it more, I think. And there's a reverence for weather that I don't think a lot of PPG guys have. They miss out on a lot of opportunities. They miss out on flying days because they don't understand the weather. They look for a wind speed, and that's it. And they say, okay, the winds are going to pick up at 10 o'clock. And so I'm going to land before 10. But if you understand the weather, it opens up more opportunities. And then also there's inherent dangers with flying motors and not seeing a gust front coming, or I feel like too many guys are flying with paramotors with no reserves. I thought it was like when I heard that there were people flying around in paramotors with no reserve, I was like, what are they going to do if they take a big whack while they're flying and don't fix it in time? You got to throw your reserve. And a lot of people are just, I don't do acro low and I don't need it. And they might be right, but I see a lot of guys that say they don't do acro that do the most dangerous acro maneuver that I know of, which is wing overs. And I feel like it's Satan's toy with people to convince them that wing overs are not dangerous, because I feel like that's the one that will get you, because it seems benign, and you work your way into it, and pretty soon you're doing big wing overs, and it just takes one wrong input and just a lack of energy management, and then you're in your wing. And man, if you don't have a reserve, Something else that I wish I would have known more about is the line strength. Obviously, the lines are incredibly strong, but something that compounds danger is when with the motor, you have a propeller on your back that's spinning, and now you wind up the lines into that. If you don't kill it quickly, and it happens very fast, those lines can become lethal. And I didn't realize that until my lines went into my prop and I bent my hoop.
Oh my.
Yeah, it was crazy. And it's titanium. So I remember after I landed, after the smoke cleared and I picked up my mess after screwing up a launch, my hoop was bent, and I was with Gringo, and Gringo goes, "Bro, what happened to your hoop? Did you fall on the ground?" I was like, "No, I didn't fall on the ground." And he's like, "Look at your hoop." And I had to pull a line in, and it literally, the tension was strong enough to bend my titanium frame. So can you imagine, you got a hand caught, like that's what happened to Kyle Oblique.
And we had another paramotor pilot that happened to before Kyle, just about a week before Kyle's.
Yeah, I can't remember who that was, but I do remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. So people that think about saving money and trying to learn off the internet how to fly a paramotor is like, you just don't know all the things that could go wrong, and learn about how to protect yourself from things that can go wrong. And what happened? Did it come down behind you, or how
Yeah.
did you? So you landed and just kind of floated downwards towards you, or how did that?
No, I was launching.
Oh, you were launching. Okay.
Yeah, and so I spooled up as my glider was coming up, and part of my glider fell to the side. I didn't feel it. I gave this right brake input, and then I felt something happen, and my motor made a weird change in pitch, and I let off the gas just in time for it to kind of wind that wire all the way up and then pull tension onto my brake line. And I'm like, whoa, what the heck was that? It felt really weird. And I looked back, sure enough, it had spooled up a couple lines. Actually broke one of them, so I had to send my glider in for repair. So
you're doing a forward inflation, and what got caught and how? Because I don't understand how that would happen.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Other than I let too much of my wing be slack on the left side. Might have been the right side. I don't remember. But I was running, and it. I felt it come up, and then I hit the gas. But part of the wing wasn't inflated. It was just kind of dangling down like this.
Okay.
So when I pulled the wing up and then didn't give enough power, it wasn't running fast enough, or whatever happened. And yeah, lines end up in the prop. It happens.
And scary too.
And it happened really fast. And it ruined a flying day.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think I was more mad about that than I was about the line.
Well,
yeah.
Interesting stuff. I mean, just really interesting. And with you too, you doing the paragliding and then moving into the paramotoring, and you said that you've been flying for about 1.5 years now. I mean, as far as paramotor.
Yeah, well, I just got my motor at the Salton Sea Flying last year in February, but I was flying paramotors before that. But it was other people's stuff.
Okay. So you said that you had that one issue with the lines getting caught in. Did you have any other paramotor issues?
Yeah, we drove 2 hours to. It's called Painted Gorge.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the second time that I'd gone to Painted Gorge. I went with Jeff Hammond and Gringo, and I ended up launching in like a nil wind situation, and it was uphill, and I think I even had a tailwind. I'm not sure exactly, but I was running as fast as I possibly could. I was on a smaller glider, 18 meter, but running uphill with the paramotor, could not feel any pressure in the glider until the very last few steps. And I'm talking like the football field length of running. And then I had to kind of avoid some stuff on the ground. I put too much into the brakes, lost too much airspeed, and then ended up having to, like, I realized, okay, I'm not going up. I have to flare, and I flared as hard as I could, but ended up my prop in the dirt. And so I blew up a prop completely. So 2 hours away, had to just sit there and watch the other guys fly.
So that's another thing, I guess, is things I wish that I knew that I should buy at least 2 or at least 1 spare prop.
Yeah, I have a spare prop now. I actually watched Kyle O'Glee's video on making molds, and I made a mold out of my new props, and then I fixed the old ones with epoxy carbon fiber. Yeah,
that's good. It's always good to be able to repair your machines because it just costs so much.
Yeah.
So I'm still working on this little 3D printed prop or
throttle.
We'll see if that works.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I got a lot of these things that I just need to, wire everything in and then put it on my paramotor and go try it. But, just time constraints. Speaking about time constraint, Robert, I know that you're busy and stuff. You need to head on out, or?
Yeah, no, my wife was wiping off the table, so I figured I would make my move from the table.
I thought you were in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Robert, you're gonna be a grandpa in the next few weeks. It's coming up fast.
Yeah. I'm too young for that.
Grandpa Robert. Yeah. Hey, as soon as you become a grandpa, you start getting these gray hairs.
Yeah.
PPG grandpa.
Yep. You start getting
grandpa.
Gray hairs. You start growing hairs out of your ears. Where'd that come from? Your back starts growing hair.
I started getting gray hair long before I had a grandchild.
I guess Robert's lucky right now.
I don't think we've met before. It's Amy, George, and Mark. Mark. I own Paragliding USA. Oh, nice. Awesome. I know your mom very well, and we talk about you, and they try to make me come to your show, and I've tried to sit in a couple of times, but we used to go to these shows all the time, but with business and work, I actually work a regular job like most people do and try to run this business. And so at night, that's what I'm usually doing. So I usually don't have time for the shows anymore.
I've sat in on your show before.
But Amy has. Hi, Amy. I think your mom cracks the whip. Yeah. She forced me to come on here tonight. I was going to bed. I was going to be
stop.
We know how it is, trust me.
I know. I can look on a computer and know what time it is in California right now. So you can't fool me.
You guys are in a camper?
7:39.
You guys had a fly-in or something?
Oh, Mark and Amy?
Yeah.
Hey, you're on mute, so you need to unmute if you want to talk to us.
We actually just came back from Lone Star Paramotor. Amy went down there to finish up some training. Oh, nice. She just got her PPG 1 and get her a few flights in. She'll get her PPG. She got to get 21 more flights in. I finished up my PPG 2. I can do my PPG 3. I just haven't done it yet. And then I'm going to do my instructors and then tandems. Oh, that's awesome. So
okay, so our camper is this.
Yes, the reason we're in the camper.
We actually prefer the camper over our house, and my phone was running low from when I was sitting at the table eating, and you weren't on the show yet. And I just got back from tutoring after work. And so I had to come out the camper, plug my phone in, and then I put grades in too. And because Mark was in there talking business and everything, so I get some peace and quiet in the camper. And we actually slept in the camper last night instead of our own bedroom.
How cute.
That's cool.
Just like our clubhouse.
Like
Yeah,
it's-
there you go.
It's an
There you go.
Airbnb. It's an Airbnb, right?
That's
It-
awesome.
I mean, I know we sound crazy that we prefer our camper
Look
over our
at this.
house.
Look at the size of this bed.
This is our guest bed. It's a king size.
Wow.
We had 5 freaking dogs in the bed with us last night, Sean.
I love it.
And one of them was a lab, the other was a visualist. So that's not all small dogs.
Yeah, there's one of them right there. Look at him. He's giant.
Aw, look at him.
And he's not even 2 yet.
Oh my gosh. So cute.
Yeah, Amy
I'm
said.
done.
Amy says that his head makes my head look like a peanut.
Oh my gosh. When Mark's hugging him, his head is like twice the size of Mark's head.
It's good. It's good to meet you, though. By the way, I didn't know who you are.
Yeah, it's good to meet you too. And it's Mark, right?
It is. It's Mark. Yes, thank you. I'll tell you. We went to a paragliding event a couple of years ago
Yeah.
in Oklahoma. It was
Bear
Mountain and Panorama. I can't remember what part of it.
That's one of the places that I flew and was training was over at Panorama.
Okay, so did you fly paraglider?
That's where I was. That's where my instructor was. So I had to
Really?
drive all the way. Yep. So I had to drive all the way over there to
Yeah.
learn how to fly.
Yeah, so we went over there, and me and another guy, and we stayed for a week, and we were going to fly that. We flew with our paramotors from the LZ, but I mean, I looked up at the mountain. I'm like, there's no way I'm jumping off that mountain.
Yeah.
And then we drove all the way up to the mountain. And I looked back down. And I'm like, there's no way I'm jumping off this mountain. And the guys was like, hey, man, we have paramotor guys fly off here all the time. I'm like, man, it just didn't feel right. And at that time, I was still kind of new. And but I hung around 2,500 feet. That's where I played around at. I stayed around 2,000, 2,500 feet. So by the time I got to where I played around, I looked over, I'm even with the top of the mountain. So I don't have a desire to do that, but I do have a desire to like ridge soar. I would love to do that. Like at the beach where you have a nice ridge and you can just soar back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, go 20 times. Right, Robert?
Yep.
Yep. See? Mama knows.
And here's an interesting tidbit. When Mark first started paramotoring, what's your first one? A Scout or Fresh Breeze? What was your first
Fresh
one?
Breeze.
Fresh Breeze. That thing was so heavy. He said, here, Amy, try it on. Because he thought I would get the sport. I was like, get this off me now. He's like, no. I was like, it is too heavy. Get off. I said, I will paraglide instead of paramotor. Because if this is what it feels like, I don't want that weight on my back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it is a little shocking.
Yeah.
I got all geared up, gassed up. It's winter. This was just a few months ago, super cold. And we were up at a higher altitude than normal. And my whole setup, everything, I was probably, I don't know, my unit's probably 80 something pounds. It was ridiculous. And I was trying to run, and it took me about 5 failed launches before I got in the air. Everybody's waiting for me. It's embarrassing.
Wow.
I didn't need to gas up that much either because we're only going to fly for about an hour. And I filled it right up to the top. Another rookie move. You don't always have to fill it all the way up.
Well, yeah, and here's another one. Things that I wish I knew before I started paramotoring. If I go to the coast and learn to fly with beautiful laminar wind at sea level, and then I go home, to some place that, I'm standing at, 3,000 feet, MSL, it's going to be without wind, you won't be able to launch because you're not in the same you're not flying at the same place that you learn how to fly. If you want to learn, if you're on the coast and you want to learn to fly and you're living on the coast, that's a great place. But if you're living someplace like Texas or Tennessee or Arkansas, you might want to learn to fly in your state.
Yep.
Learn how to fly in your state, because it's a big difference from sea level with beautiful laminar air to wherever you're living. Am I right, Robert?
100%.
Absolutely.
And plug yourself.
Yeah, we definitely do not want any of those Arkansas people over here in Texas. You can keep all those Arkansas students.
You're Texarkana. You're just like 3 feet away from our border. Give me a
I
break.
know, right? I know. I could walk a block or two and be in Arkansas. It's
No,
crazy.
actually, more than that.
Okay, she said a few more blocks than that.
All right. You can get 10,000 steps on your Fitbit and be in Arkansas.
True. Less.
There you go.
Okay.
Well, guys, it's about 9:45 over here, and I'm exhausted. My wife already went to bed. I got to get up at early dark 30 because I train everybody from sunup to sundown, 7 days a week over at paramotorarkansas.com, and morning comes pretty quick.
Nice.
Art just
All right.
gave you a nickname.
What?
He just gave you a new nickname,
What?
Drill Sergeant.
I still like the PPG Grandpa, but all right.
You can be in camo.
Yeah.
Well, I do have my Marine Corps hat on, so
Oh, he does.
here's my camo.
There you go.
It works.
Love it.
So, guys, thank you so much
Great.
for hanging out with us. And Michael, or Robert Michaels, he joined us and gave us some pretty good information about paragliding and paramotoring and his point of view, which was really awesome. If you want to be on our show, just get up with Linda Anderson. Go to paramomusa.com. If you want to see my crazy shenanigans, go to
So what I heard,
paramotors.com.
Robert
What's that?
said he was going to be a guest on Monday. Did you hear that too? I think I heard that, Sean.
Yes, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to hear all the information. I know
Robert,
there's
if you were ever able to, I would be very honored for you just to give us, like what you did right here. Just give us more detail about, going from paragliding to paramotoring. What's the difference? Which one should go first? How do you like the training? Is the training different? I mean, there's a lot of things that, I would love to ask you, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that would like to know, the difference between the two. I mean, we had a whole show about what's the difference between trike PPG and PPC. So,
because I've already
your brain
right now.
What's that?
I've already learned a lot from him just listening to his experience right now, and I know there's so much more information to be gleaned. So yeah, it would be.
And the shows are just nonstop full of information.
Yep.
Linda, go ahead and pump up the name and the URL real quick.
Oh yeah. If you want to be a guest on my show, hit me up on Paramom USA, and I'll get you on the show, or just PM me. And Thursday night, we have paraglidingtalk.com with your awesomest host, Robert Michaels. Make sure you tune in on Thursdays. The only place to be on Thursday night.
Paraglidingtalk.com.
Come on, Robert, say it. Say it, Robert.
Yeah, go ahead and say it the right way.
.com.
I don't have the microphone, so I don't know if it's paraglidingtalk.com.
There you go. I love
it.
And for those of you that don't know, Linda is the mom of Robert. So
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to put that part in
Yeah,
there.
she forced me to come on.
I did.
Yeah, she's like, you come on, we're going to shake my pom-poms in your face.
Yeah. Done.
Have to do it. You don't tell no to mom.
Aw. Well, we don't need to keep you up too long.
My wife too. My wife, she told me that was a good idea
Was what?
to come on the show.
Oh, it was a good idea. It was a great idea. I'm glad that you joined us.
Now listen to
Then
the
let's
women.
keep
Like,
peace in the family, because then tomorrow will be like, what the heck?
Happy
I
wife,
know.
happy life.
Absolutely. Robert, seriously, anytime that you want to come on and just talk about the differences or whatever, please do. I know that you're busy. So
Yeah.
I'm not forcing you. Your mom might, but I'm not.
I will too. I'll be like, you coming on Monday? Let me know.
But definitely thank you for jumping on and talking to
Yeah.
us.
That'd be awesome.
Right on.
All right,
All right.
y'all have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday.
Thank you, chatters. Thank you all.
Nice
Thank
to meet you,
Love ya.
Mark and
Good
Amy.
to
Right?
see y'all.
Mark and Amy George from
All
Paris,
right.
USA.
Nice to meet you guys. Bye, Mom. Love you.
Bye. Love you.
All right, guys, have a
Love
great evening.
y'all. Good night. Bye bye.
Mwah.
You're so crazy.
I done got the show fever again.
Oh
That's
my
why
lord.
I love
You're
her.
so crazy.
That's why I love her.
Uh,
Right.
All right.
you ain't gonna be able to get rid of her ass now.
Do you hear him?
Woohoo!
As we're shutting down the live stream that's still going, I know it should be off here in a minute.
And then we say good night.
All right. Good night. I gotta put more grades in.
All right, later, guys.
All right, bye.